Oh no, my online dating partner turns out to be my sister. Ji-fan, nicknamed Jiang Das, most deeply involved. How deeply involved? Everyone in Jiang Da knows that Ji-fan, besides attending classes, holds several jobs just to support his girlfriend, Zhao Feifei. Some people say they've seen him in the most upscale neighborhood in Jianghai, dressed in cheap street market clothes, wearing flip-flops, and carrying a worn-out burlap bag while wandering aimlessly. Others say they've seen him on Jianghai South's most luxurious commercial street, in the heat of summer, holding a stack of dozens of different flyers, handing them out to anyone he meets. Some even say they've seen him in Jianghai's largest hotel, holding a mop and chatting animatedly with the cleaning lady. Despite all this hard work, his attire has never cost more than 3 digits, and no matter how hard he tries, the poverty-stricken smell just won't wash off. Ji-fan has heard these rumors, but he just sneers at them. Today is Saturday, and Ji-fan finishes his work early. He plans to surprise Zhao Feifei. Zhao Feifei doesn't live in the school dorms not because her family is rich, but because her devoted simp of a boyfriend spoils her endlessly. She rents a 1-bedroom apartment near the school for 3,000 a month, an amount many students can only dream of. But Ji-fan isn't stupid. When he rented this place, he dreamt of the two of them living together in their little love nest. However, Zhao Feifei is a traditional girl. She tearfully told Ji-fan that she never imagined having a physical relationship before marriage. She wanted to wait until they were married to give herself completely to him. Ji-fan believed her wholeheartedly. After all, Zhao Feifei was such a good girl, and this was how it should be. As he approached the neighborhood, Ji-fan couldn't resist calling Zhao Feifei. But the call went unanswered, and he got the busy tone. Surprised, he glanced at the time. It was 10:20 a.m. Zhao Feifei should be home studying at this time. After thinking for a moment, Ji-fan dialed again, and after a long wait, the call finally connected. Feifei, where are you? Ji-fan suppressed his excitement and glanced at the flowers and necklace he had prepared for her. Surprise, of course, is best when it happens without the other person knowing. The necklace was one they had seen a month ago when shopping, and although it cost a 6-figure sum, Zhao Feifei had reluctantly given up on it. Ji-fan was sure she'd be thrilled when she saw it today. But when the phone picked up, it wasn't her voice that came through, only short, labored breathing, like she had just finished some intense exercise. Ji-fan was stunned. Feifei, what's wrong? Aren't you at home? It took several seconds before her breathing subsided. I'm at home, just cleaning. Ji-fan believed Zhao Feifei's words. What a good girl, always cleaning when she has time. Then, suddenly, there was a sharp scream from the phone. Though hurried, it sounded painful. Ji-fan's heart skipped a beat. Feifei, what happened? After a pause, Zhao Feifei's voice came through, weak and faint. Ji-fan, I accidentally bumped into the corner of the table. She was hurt. Ji-fan immediately disregarded everything else and ran toward her building. While running, he spoke urgently, is it serious? I'll be there soon, don't move, stay put and wait for me. He hung up the phone and started running faster. But then, something caught Ji-fan's eye, a black Maybach parked downstairs in the building. This neighborhood was decent but not enough for a Maybach owner. Who would drive such a luxury car here? A feeling of suspicion crossed Ji-fan's mind as he glanced at the license plate. Holy crap, that license plate looked familiar. Wasn't that the company car of his half-sister, who had the same father but a different mother? Ji-fan grew up in a blended family. His biological father passed away when he was young, and his mother, Sun Huia, raised him alone. 3 years ago, Ji-fan entered university, and his mother met someone new, his new father, Jiang. Ji-fan was happy for her, of course. Jiang also had a daughter from a previous marriage, and thus, Ji-fan gained a sister, Lingwei. Lingwei was 3 years older than Ji-fan. When their families first came together, the Xia family was on a downward slope. Once the dominant business force in Jianghai, they were now just an ordinary company. However, even a dead camel is still bigger than a horse, and Xia Lingwei received a much better education than Ji-fan. Within the first year of their marriage, Xia Lingwei took over the Xia family business. In just 3 years, she used her skills to bring the Xia company back into prominence and earned a well-known reputation as a queen of the business world. This legendary figure in Jianghai, Xia Lingwei, had her car parked under Ji-fan's girlfriend's building. Ji Fan couldn't help but furrow his brows. He and his half-sister were from completely different worlds. Furthermore, Ji Fan had been mostly at school while Xia Lingwei was busy with the company, so they rarely met. The only contact they had was Xia Lingwei assigning him various odd jobs every weekend. For example, collecting rent, handing out flyers for their commercial street, or working as a part-time waiter at their hotel. Every time Ji Fan complained, his mother would just laugh and say, "You have to listen to your sister. She's just trying to train you. She's so outstanding, she'd never harm you." If it weren't for the sweet relationship between his mother and Uncle Xia, Ji Fan would never put up with this. If Xia Lingwei weren't so amazing, Ji Fan might even suspect she was jealous of him. But why would his sister, who was such a big shot, come to this small neighborhood? Was she here to catch him? Ji Fan looked up at the building and finally decided to go greet his sister. If she saw him going upstairs, with her iron-fisted methods, Zhao Feifei's personal information would probably end up on the president's desk at Xia Group tomorrow. Approaching the Maybach cautiously, Ji Fan gently tapped the window. As expected, it was a luxury car. The inside was completely dark, and it was impossible to see anything, but close up, he could hear faint, urgent screams coming from inside. Was his sister in danger? Ji Fan knocked harder, with a quicker rhythm, his fingers tapping on the window with a series of loud thuds. "Who the hell are you, disturbing my good time?" The window rolled down, and Ji Fan finally saw the scene inside. A man and a woman were embracing in a strange position. But, why did this man look so familiar? Chapter 2, The Gold-Digging Girlfriend and Her Pretentious Boyfriend. Ji Fan never imagined that one day he would meet Zhao Feifei in such a situation. She was sitting on another man's lap, her eyes half closed, her mouth curled into a smile that seemed to express either pain or pleasure. Sweat was already beading on her forehead, but she seemed oblivious to it. Her top was messy but still intact, though her lower body was hidden from view, the car window obscuring the rest. The man was someone Ji Fan knew: Qin Hao, Jiang's most famous rich, handsome guy. Ji Fan. Clearly, Qin Hao recognized Ji Fan. "Brother Hao, don't bring up that poor loser now, just hurry up," Zhao Feifei urged, her voice anxious, unaware that her boyfriend was just a window away from her. Qin Hao turned to look at Ji Fan. The awkward situation should have been uncomfortable, but instead, he seemed excited and amused. Ji Fan took a deep breath. If the window wasn't so small, he would have thrown a brick at them already. Zhao Fei. The three words were like the whisper of a demon, instantly jolting Zhao Feifei out of her pleasure-filled haze. What's going on? Did I just hear that poor bastard's voice? Zhao Feifei muttered to herself, instinctively looking to her left. Their eyes met. Zhao Feifei's brief moment of panic was quickly replaced by calm. "Since you've noticed, I'll tell you straight. You, a poor loser who works hard just to get by, could never be good enough for me. Look at yourself in the mirror like a toad wanting to eat a swan's meat. Let me tell you, get the hell away from here now, or else the smell of your poverty will ruin Brother Hao's car, and you'll be the one paying for it." After lecturing Ji Fan, Zhao Feifei's expression shifted, and she turned to smile sweetly at Qin Hao. "Brother Hao, he's just a loser who's obsessed with me. I'll break up with him right now. Brother Hao, don't worry, we never did anything, not even kissed." Looking at Zhao Feifei, Ji Fan suddenly felt empty. The beauty of love shattered in that instant, and even his earlier anger seemed to have dissipated a bit. For a gold digger like her, it wasn't worth it. "Now, get out of the car. Immediately. If not, you'll face the consequences." Ji Fan was done with talking to these two. He shifted his gaze to Qin Hao, his words full of warning. Perhaps it was Ji Fan's intense look, or perhaps Qin Hao had finished, but the window quickly rolled up, blocking Ji Fan's view. A few minutes later, the two of them, disheveled, exited the car. Zhao Feifei clung to Qin Hao's arm, proudly holding her head high, refusing to glance at Ji Fan even once. Now that she had latched onto Qin Hao, she was certain her future was to marry into a wealthy family. As for Ji Fan, he could remain her devoted simp for all she cared. "So, you're Qin Hao, right? If I'm not mistaken, this Maybach should be from Xia Group." Ji Fan was cut off by Qin Hao, whose eyes flashed as he studied Ji Fan, suddenly unsure of what to make of him. This was indeed the car of Xia Group's CEO, and the reason Qin Hao was driving it was that his father worked as Xia Lingwei's driver. Qin Hao's father had been with Xia Group for many years, through both its rise and fall. The Xia family trusted him deeply. What Qin Hao never expected was that such a trusted employee would secretly make moves like this behind his boss's back. Feifei, you go upstairs first. Don't let this kind of person sully your eyes. Let me handle this. Qin Hao gently patted Zhao Feifei, signaling her to leave. Zhao Feifei, though confused, obediently nodded and gave Qin Hao a kiss on the cheek before leaving. Jifan remained expressionless. His earlier anger had almost evaporated by now. A woman like her wasn't worth his sorrow. After Zhao Feifei left, Jifan sneered and looked at Qin Hao. Interesting. You're driving my sister's car to pick up women? Who the hell are you? Qin Hao's expression changed. He had never imagined that Xia Lingwei, the CEO of Xia Group, was actually the sister of this inconspicuous poor guy. But Qin Hao hadn't heard of Xia Lingwei having a brother. Wasn't she an only child? When Xia Jiang married Jifan's father, it was during Xia Group's lowest point. They kept their marriage very low-key, and few people knew about it. Later, Xia Jiang handed over all his business to Xia Lingwei, so he and Jifan's mother could focus on their relationship. This made it even less likely for anyone to learn about Jifan's existence. Thus, many people thought Xia Lingwei was the only child of Xia Group. Qin Hao's brain worked quickly as he connected the dots. He concluded that this guy in front of him, just like himself, was a liar. He didn't know how Jifan had found out about the car's license plate, but he was sure this guy was making up stories. With that thought, Qin Hao straightened his back, his previously lowered head now lifted with confidence. Jifan, right? I don't know how you found out about the CEO's car, but I can assure you, this car is lent to me by CEO Xia herself. If you don't believe me, you can ask her. As Qin Hao spoke, his voice grew louder, his tone trying to sound more convincing. It was a Saturday, and most people were still at home, just getting up to do their shopping. When they saw such an expensive car parked in the neighborhood, many people who were already watching from a distance couldn't hold back their curiosity. As soon as they heard Qin Hao's words, they swarmed over, eager to gossip. Hey, don't touch it. If you damage the car, you'll have to pay for it. As more people gathered around, Qin Hao became even more smug. He was sure Jifan, a nobody, could never get in touch with Xia Lingwei. As long as no one could expose his lie, this car was the CEO's, and how else would he have the keys? Be careful, I checked online. This car starts at over 3 million. If it gets even a scratch, I can't imagine the consequences. Who is this guy? Is he talking about Xia Lingwei, the CEO of Xia Group? Look at his aura, he definitely looks like a rich person. No wonder he has friends with CEO Xia. The murmurs around them only made Qin Hao feel even more superior. He enjoyed this moment of being admired by everyone, basking in the attention. He felt like a god, with the power to control the lives of these ants. You guys guessed right. This car is indeed CEO Xia Lingwei's exclusive car. But with my relationship with her, borrowing a car is no big deal. With everyone praising him, Qin Hao was feeling more and more self-important, not realizing that Jifan's phone was facing him, and the video call had already been connected. On the other end of the call was a cold, aloof beauty, the very person Qin Hao had been talking about, Xia Lingwei. Chapter 3, A Perfect Closure. Xia Lingwei was beautiful, but if it weren't for her icy demeanor, perhaps Jifan would have gotten along better with her. At this moment, Xia Lingwei wore a stoic expression, having heard everything Qin Hao said just moments ago. As a decisive and ruthless female CEO, Xia Lingwei could never tolerate any deceit within her ranks. The moment I give me 1 minute, she said through the video, and then ended the call. Xia Lingwei valued efficiency in everything she did. Qin Hao, unaware of the impending crisis, was basking in the envious and jealous gazes of those around him. Jifan hung up the phone. Though he hadn't had much interaction with his sister, he knew her methods well. If she said 1 minute, then at most, 50 seconds later, results would follow. Exactly 45 seconds later, Qin Hao's phone rang. Jifan smiled, it was here. Dad, what's going on? What? The young lady knows about it. What's going on, Dad? Didn't you say the car was going for maintenance today? Was it said that CEO Xia would be using another car today? Qin Hao's expression went from one of confidence to one of shock, much like a roller coaster except it only descended. The call ended abruptly. Qin Hao stared at Ji Fan, horrified. He had never imagined that the seemingly poor guy in front of him was actually Xia Lingwei's brother, a scion of the Xia group. Could it be that Ji Fan had been pretending to be poor all these years? Is this just a rich person's little quirk? But in this case, Qin Hao was completely wrong about Ji Fan. Ji Fan's original family wasn't he poor, but it wasn't he exactly wealthy either. Ji Fan had never asked for much in life, just enough to eat and stay warm, and a comfortable existence was all he needed. When his mother was with Uncle Xia, the Xia group was going through a downturn, so Ji Fan never considered himself part of a wealthy family. Even though the Xia group had grown more successful in recent years, Ji Fan never felt it had anything to do with him. The Xia group was Xia group, and he was he. The only time Ji Fan had used the black card his sister had left for him was for a necklace in his pocket. But that card was unnecessary now. What are you all standing around for? If you damage this car, can you afford to pay for it? Qin Hao suddenly snapped, confusing the bystanders, but they all decided it was best to leave quickly, fearing that he might belong to some wealthy family. After everyone dispersed, Qin Hao immediately rushed over. Mr. Ji, I didn't know your identity. Please, let me go. This has nothing to do with me. Zhao Feifei seduced me. The son of a distinguished family had been cuckolded, and Qin Hao could already foresee his grim future. There was no chance of a good outcome for him. As for resisting, he was just a show-off, not a complete fool. Don't worry, the girlfriend or whatever isn't important, Ji Fan said coolly. The key issue is compensation. You and that woman were doing that in the car. My sister's cleanliness obsession won't tolerate it. I'm sure the car will need to be replaced. Please cover the costs for the damages. Qin Hao froze. He couldn't figure out what Ji Fan was thinking. The girlfriend wasn't important. He wasn't angry about being cuckolded. He wanted compensation. This wasn't the script he expected. I'm a little tight on money right now. If you could just pay around 300,000 to 400,000, we can consider this matter closed. Otherwise, I'll have to call the police. Using a vehicle without the owner's consent constitutes theft. Even if you return it afterward, the crime remains. Under Chinese law, theft involving large amounts or serious circumstances can lead to 10 years or more in prison, or even life imprisonment, along with fines or confiscation of property. Do you think this may counts as a large amount? Ji Fan pressed the emergency button on his phone and began dialing. Qin Hao's eyes widened. He didn't expect Ji Fan to be serious, so he immediately stopped him and, without thinking, dropped to his knees. Mr. Ji, please show mercy. Don't call the police. If you do, my life is over. I'll pay the money. How much do you want? I'll have my dad send it right away. Ji Fan smiled. Now that's more like it. He had lost a materialistic, unworthy ex-girlfriend, but gained a significant amount of money. This trade was quite profitable. 300,000. Here's my account. If I don't see the money tonight, the police will be knocking at your door. Don't think you can escape. The witnesses from earlier are ready to testify. Qin Hao was on the phone again, this time calling his father. Despite being just a driver for the Xia group, his father wasn't poor. 300,000 was painful, but it wouldn't break the bank. To secure his son's future, Qin Hao's father would have to pay. By the way, make sure the car is thoroughly cleaned and disinfected before it's returned. If my sister finds out what you two did in that car, your father might lose his job. After Qin Hao hung up, Ji Fan didn't waste any more time. He saved the price of a necklace and earned 300,000 in return. This deal was a success. He casually tossed the flowers he had been holding into the trash can downstairs, then walked away, leaving Qin Hao sobbing behind him. Just then, Ji Fan's phone buzzed. It was a message from Zhao Feifei. Ji Fan, since you've seen what happened today, it's destiny. Let us break up. Don't blame me. Blame your parents for not giving you the same advantages as Qin Hao's parents. I admit I once liked you, but love is fleeting. I'd rather cry in a Mercedes than smile on your old electric bike. Looking at the message on his screen, Ji Fan fell into deep thought. The electric bike was his, the Mercedes was his sister's. She likely couldn't ride either of them. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't reply, and instead blocked and deleted her with a single tap. A world without gold-digging women, how wonderful. Jifan had been in a 2-year relationship with Zhao Feifei. During those years, he had spent a lot on her. While he wasn't extravagant, he had always tried to give her the best he could. He didn't even mention the rent for the place she lived in. Every month, her expenses were in the thousands, and there were always small gifts for every holiday. As Zhao Feifei often said, she didn't care about the money, it was the thought, the attitude that mattered. But every expression of thought and attitude seemed to be tied to money. That was also one of the reasons Jifan agreed to work weekends for his sister. Sure, she made him work, but her pay wasn't bad. She paid him 2,000 a day. At least, the money Jifan spent on Zhao Feifei was now recovered from Jianghai. The whole thing had come to a perfect closure. Chapter 4, Making a Woman Remember You for 3.5 years. Jifan's sudden return home caught his mother off guard. Ever since marrying Jiang, his mother had completely fallen into a state of oblivion. It was because of the two lovebirds in their middle age that Jifan had mistakenly thought he would experience the same kind of sweet love. He thought it would be unconditional, simply because of love. But reality told him he was wrong. "I want to have lunch, you guys continue," Jifan said as he glanced at the stunned faces of the two people in the kitchen, then rushed back to his room at lightning speed. He couldn't let his presence interfere with his parents' love life. Once back in his room, Jifan wasn't as calm as he had imagined. He was human, after all. He had poured his heart into a relationship for 2 years, and 2/3 of his university life had been dominated by Zhao Feifei. How could he let go so easily? The dual pain of being cheated on and heartbroken hit him like a ton of bricks. Jifan tossed and turned on his bed, and finally decided to find someone to talk to. But in reality, he didn't have many friends. The best time for him to make friends in university had been entirely consumed by Zhao Feifei. As a result, he had very few people to confide in. As for the guys in his dorm, Jifan could already imagine how loudly they would laugh once they heard his story. Since he couldn't find anyone to talk to, he decided to distract himself with something else. Jifan didn't have many hobbies, but gaming was his greatest passion. League of Legends, activate. Competitive games didn't need love. Jifan enjoyed playing top lane. As he liked to say, the top lane was the lane for real men. 1v1, real men battle. Pressing the B key, it's fight or die. Only the living can last a farm. Jifan was actually pretty good at the game. He was young and quick to react. If he hadn't played so little, he might have already reached the highest rank. But today, for some reason, maybe it was because of his bad mood or his emotions affecting his hands, he lost 3 times in a row, all to the same Akali in top lane, and nearly threw his computer out of frustration. Clearly, distracting himself didn't work. Competitive games don't require love, but losing made him even more upset. Jifan silently shut down his computer and pulled out his phone. Since competitive games weren't working, maybe he could try a role-playing mobile game. Jifan had dabbled in many types of games, probably even more than Xia Lingwei had dabbled in business. From 3D blockbusters to casual puzzle games, there was nothing he couldn't play. As soon as he opened the browser, an ad for a game popped up. Looking at the familiar ad, Jifan's mind immediately traveled back 3 years. In his second year of high school, Jifan became addicted to a role-playing mobile game. Almost all his free time was spent on it. He also made a few friends with whom he formed a regular team for tasks. This game had a very attractive feature, the couple function. At that time, Jifan was still naive and inexperienced, just the right age for an online romance. Encouraged by a few of his teammates, Jifan teamed up with a beautiful older sister in the game. They had never met in real life. The reason she was called a beautiful sister was because her voice was so sweet. It was soft, mellow, and sweet without being sickly. It was the kind of voice that made you feel at ease the moment you heard it. Before they formed a couple, this beautiful sister had been one of their fixed team members, and at that time, she was playing the cool, aloof queen role. Her precise maneuvers and strong overall game awareness made her the undeniable queen of the game. But after they formed a couple, Jifan found that he was mistaken. He had made a huge mistake. The queen had suddenly turned into a love-struck girl, constantly clinging to him and sending sweet messages. And the most surprising part was, in front of others, she still maintained her cool, queen persona. Can you imagine it? A queen, who just seconds ago was commanding the team with simple words, sending private messages, "Baby, did you miss me today?" This sharp contrast was something that Jiang, at 17 years old, could not resist. Even at 27, he probably still wouldn't have been able to resist. So, he fell for her quickly and completely. The results were inevitable: a man obsessed with love, and his grades started to decline. In the last semester of his senior year, under the pressure of his mother's care, Jiang finally returned to his senses. After all, if he didn't, he'd be heading to the hospital for a confession. Jiang originally planned to tell her the truth, but for some reason, whether it was a brain glitch or something, he felt that suddenly breaking up with his online girlfriend would be unfair to her. So he chose to disappear without a trace. After disappearing, Jiang channeled his anger into strength. He was already a smart guy, and within one semester, he successfully made it into Jiang University. After the college entrance exam, Jiang had planned to visit the beautiful sister, but thinking about his disappearance and how it had been half a year, he assumed she must have found a new partner by then. So, he gave up. He thought of it as a youthful, naive love that ended with a whimper. As he logged into the game, Jiang instinctively clicked on his friends list. In the couples section, the name was still there. It had been more than 3 years, and he didn't expect her to still be in a couple with him. What's more, she was still online. Jiang's eyes widened. There were a lot of messages in the chat box. Jiang scrolled through 7 or 8 pages before he found the last message he had sent to her 3 years ago. "I have cancer, and it's terminal. I want to thank you for bringing me happiness these days. I'm sorry, but I can't continue with you. Forgive me, love, your baby." How to make a woman remember you for 3 years, Jiang now knew. After these 2 sentences, there were 7 or 8 pages of messages from the beautiful sister. "Baby, don't lie to me. I don't believe it. Baby, don't scare me, you're not really leaving me, right? You're not going to die. Baby, I miss you so much. I'll love you forever." The most recent message was from a month ago. "Baby, my family is trying to arrange a marriage for me, but I don't like him. I only love you." Jiang took a deep breath. He suddenly felt that logging in was probably a mistake. Looking at her still online status, Jiang quickly logged off. He hoped she hadn't noticed that he was online. If she had, this would be really awkward. Who would have thought that the beautiful sister had waited for him for over 3 years? Now, he really didn't know how to explain himself. He couldn't exactly tell her that he faked his death and had been living a happy life these past few years. He had a loving mother, an uncle who cared for him, an aloof older sister, and an unfaithful ex-girlfriend. But what Jiang didn't notice was that at the exact moment he exited the game interface, the chat box started flashing wildly. Chapter 5, Love Brain is a Disease. At the headquarters of the Xia Group. Although it was already nearing noon, Xia Lingwei still sat in the main seat of the meeting room, and the people beneath her kept their heads down, not daring to speak, waiting for the fury of the female CEO. Xia Lingwei had taken over the Xia Group 3 years ago. During these 3 years, she had led the company back to its peak and was even showing signs of further growth. However, at the same time, her ruthless decision-making and sharp style had made her famous in the industry. Xia Lingwei had many nicknames, the Queen of Business being one of the more positive ones, one that could be reported by the media. But privately, her nicknames were much harsher: Frost Witch, the Extinct Nun, Black Mountain Old Demon, and so on. Working under her meant making a lot of money, but also facing a lot of scolding, a lot of overtime. Today's meeting was about planning the next product launch, a plan that had been discussed for 3 days. The planning department had worked in shifts for 3 straight days and nights, revising the plan over 30 times, but in the end, everything was rejected by Xia Lingwei. "By tonight, if I don't see a satisfactory plan, the whole planning department can resign. I, Xia, don't support useless people." Xia Lingwei's cold, emotionless words echoed in the meeting room, and everyone present trembled with fear. At that moment, the door of the meeting room was suddenly pushed open. Everyone curiously looked toward the door. They wanted to know who had the guts to barge in during Xia Lingwei's meeting. One could choose to commit suicide by jumping out of the building, but there was no need to take such an extreme approach. Xia Lingwei's face was also filled with anger. She lifted her head and cast a sharp gaze at the female assistant who entered, Sujiro. "I need a reasonable explanation. As expected, Sujiro, Xia Lingwei's assistant of 3 years and also her college friend, still had the chance to explain, despite causing such a big disruption. But if the explanation was unsatisfactory, there would be no favoritism from Xia Lingwei. Sujiro excitedly looked at her best friend and boss, holding a phone in her hand, and rushed in, quickly handing it over to Xia Lingwei. Looking at the screen on the phone, Xia Lingwei's expression changed. Meeting adjourned. Without time to say more, Xia Lingwei suddenly stood up, said 2 words quickly, and left the meeting room, leaving the others completely dumbfounded. What's going on? What could have happened to make the workaholic CEO leave the meeting? It can't be something major within the group, right? Let's pray that the person still has a life left. Forget about the meeting, Su assistant is still here. We still need to submit the planning proposal before the end of the day. The people in the meeting room quickly left. Sujiro, the last one remaining, tidied up the things Xia Lingwei had left behind and headed toward the CEO's office. Inside the office, looking at the game ID that had just lit up on the phone, Xia Lingwei, who was known for her unshakable composure, found herself trembling uncontrollably. After a brief hesitation, Xia Lingwei opened the chat window. Baby, is that you? Just as she clicked send, the ID that had lit up turned gray again. Xia Lingwei froze, staring at the screen in disbelief. She clicked the ID frantically, but it was no use. He's still alive, he's lying to me, something must have happened to him. I need to find him. If anyone had seen the usually decisive Xia Lingwei now, lost and frantic, their eyes would have fallen out. Just then, a knock echoed from outside the office, but Xia Lingwei was oblivious to it. No one knew how long it had been, but the door was finally pushed open by Sujiro, who quickly ran in upon seeing the situation. As Xia Lingwei's university roommate and best friend, Sujiro knew all about her relationship with this younger brother. When he had died, it had devastated Xia Lingwei, causing her to fall into a slump for several months. When she finally recovered, she was already the CEO of the Xia Group. The love-struck Xia Lingwei had died with the loss of that younger brother, and what remained was the businesswoman, the Queen of Commerce. However, Xia Lingwei still occasionally logged into the game and sent updates to that grey ID. When Sujiro had come in earlier and saw the phone on the desk, she never expected that Xia Lingwei's love-struck side had not disappeared even after almost 4 years. Looking at the current situation, it seemed that it hadn't died out completely yet. If only she hadn't told her. Jiro, do you think he's still alive? Why isn't he responding to me? My baby has always been so obedient, why is he avoiding me? Did something happen to him? Listening to her best friend muttering, Sujiro sighed deeply and slapped her forehead. Great. She had once said that the little brother had cancer, but now it seemed that the one with cancer was someone else. Love brain is a disease that has no cure. Complaints aside, the work still had to be done. She had caused this mess, and now she had to clean it up, even if she had to do it tearfully. Xia Lingwei, get a grip. Isn't it a good thing that he's not dead? If he were really dead, there would be no chance left. But since he's still alive, I don't believe I can't find him. Don't you think? 3 years in the cutthroat world of business had hardened Xia Lingwei's heart. Although the news of Jifan's death and resurrection initially shook her, Sujiro's words helped her regain the calm that a queen of commerce should have. Find out where this IP is from. Use any method you can to locate him. Xia Lingwei threw her phone at Sujiro. The love-struck Xia Lingwei was just a fleeting moment, and that made Sujiro finally feel relieved. And tell the planning department that I need the proposal before the end of the day. If they don't deliver, they can all pack up and leave. Sujiro nodded. This proposal had been worked on for 3 days and revised so many times. It was about time they produced the best plan. If they couldn't come up with it now, Sujiro would suspect that the planning department was staging a collective mutiny. And just as Sujiro was about to leave, Xia Lingwei's voice came again. Tell the staff that for the next month, everyone needs to work overtime. Overtime pay will be 3 times the usual rate. In 1 month, I want to take the Xia Group to the next level. I want more people to know about the Xia Group. By then, I will publicly announce in the media that I'm looking for my baby. Sujiro's body shook. Wow. It seems that love brain isn't just a disease, it's also a catalyst. Chapter 6, Sibling Relationship. Jafan, who had logged off the game at lightning speed, didn't see the flashing message reminders. At this moment, he let out a long sigh of relief. To be honest, compared to his ex-girlfriend Zhao Feifei, Jiang probably had stronger feelings for his former online girlfriend. However, since he had faked his death, there was no way to explain this. So, Jiang instinctively chose to avoid it. It had been over 3 years without contact, so he decided to just leave it be and treat it as an unfortunate fate. Besides, he had just been cheated on by Zhao Feifei, and now he was allergic to relationships. However, after the shock earlier, Jiang had managed to get over the sting of being betrayed, so perhaps there was a silver lining after all. A knock on the door interrupted his thoughts. "Son, time to eat." It was his mother, Sun Hui's voice from outside the door. In the end, his mother still cared for her son. Even though Jiang had told her not to eat, she still came to call him when it was mealtime. Now that he had nothing else to do and was a bit hungry, Jiang figured it wouldn't hurt to have a meal. He opened the door and saw his parents, two middle-aged people, still sticking close to each other even at mealtime. Jiang felt that their plastic family bond was unbearable. But for the sake of his stomach, he decided to endure it a little longer. As he descended the stairs, the sound of another door opening followed. Sun Hui looked at her son, who had promised not to eat, with a look of displeasure. Xie Jian, his father, also wore a grim expression as he looked at his daughter, who rarely came home for dinner. How ironic. They had hoped to enjoy a peaceful time, but now it had turned into a four-person hell. "Hello, sister." "Hello, brother." Even though Jiang and Xie Lingwei had been living under the same roof for 3 years, their relationship was completely different from that of the two adults. Their greeting was cold and empty, full of insincerity. Just recently, the two had video chatted. Looking at the dishes on the table, 2 main dishes and a soup, it seemed that his good mother had not expected him to join the meal. The call to him was just a formality to show her motherly love. "I'll ask Jiangmar to make it again," Xie Jian said, waving his hand. Jiangmar immediately rolled up her sleeves to get started, but was immediately stopped by Sun Hui. "Just let them go out for a meal. It's not like this is their first time being siblings. Stop treating them like strangers." She then shot Jiang a sharp glare. Jiang had long since gotten used to his mother's bias, considering Xie Lingwei to be the real sister. Xie Jian's eyes brightened, and he quickly said, yes, you two can go to a restaurant. "Jiang, you're about to start your internship, right? Lingwei, you should take good care of your brother, give him some advice, or maybe let him intern at the company." Letting their sister accompany him was just a pretense. What he really wanted was to keep them out of their sweet world. Jiang stood aside with his arms crossed, pretending not to notice. After all, he knew Xie Lingwei would never agree to it. As the president of the Sheer Corporation, Xie Lingwei was worth millions. There was no way she would take time off just to have a meal with him. "All right." A cold voice interrupted his thoughts. This time, Jiang was stunned. He didn't expect his usually aloof sister, the president, to actually agree. In a daze, he was pushed out the door by his mother, and instinctively followed his sister's steps. "Sis, this car." Jiang froze as he looked at the car parked in the yard. Earlier, he had seen those two despicable people in the car, and now he was supposed to get into it. No way. He wouldn't do it. "No, another one," Xie Lingwei said succinctly, as usual. The words were brief, yet clear enough for Jiang to understand. He walked around the car and noticed that this was indeed a different one. His sister really loved this model to buy 2 of them. He quickly got into the back seat, and Xie Lingwei only gave him a quick glance with the corner of her eye as he sat down. She didn't make any further gestures. As the car started, the president of Sheer Corporation, a highly respected figure, was now his chauffeur. If anyone found out, it would probably be the headline of tomorrow's news. As Xie Lingwei concentrated on driving, Jiang could catch a glimpse of her side profile. He couldn't help but curse inwardly. What kind of bastard would give up on Xie Lingwei? The man must be scum to hurt her like that. Just then, Jiang felt an itch in his nose and couldn't help but sneeze twice. Cold. The 2 words were Xie Lingwei's utmost display of concern. If another man had sneezed in her car, he would probably have been thrown out immediately. "No, it's just that my nose was a bit uncomfortable." "I don't know which bastard was cursing me," Jiang muttered, the last part barely audible, but then he sneezed again. Since he couldn't figure out the cause, he decided to blame Zhao Feifei and Jianghai for the discomfort. It seemed that 300,000 was too soft-hearted after all. The car finally came to a stop. Their destination wasn't a luxury restaurant but rather an underground parking lot. Seeing Jian's confused look, Xia Lingwei raised an eyebrow and said, "This is a private restaurant. The food is really good." There was another reason she didn't say out loud: it was also very private. When Xia Jian and Sun Huiya had gotten married, it wasn't for any business reasons, it was purely for love. After Xia Lingwei grew the Xia Corporation, Sun Huiya had specifically asked her not to reveal her father's remarriage to the public. They just wanted to quietly enjoy their life together as a couple. Also, they didn't want Jian and Xia Lingwei to end up in a power struggle in the future. To ensure that the Xia Corporation remained fully under Xia Lingwei's control, even their marriage certificate was only issued after Jian turned 18. Chapter 7: I Have the Right to Know. Private Restaurant. Boss Xia, is it still the same? As soon as she entered the door, she was met with the enthusiastic inquiry of the proprietress. She knew at a glance that this was not the first time Xia Lingwei came here, so she was so familiar with the proprietress. Yeah. Xia Lingwei nodded gently and took Jian into the innermost private room. Jianghai in June was already very hot. In the short few minutes from the garage to the private restaurant, Jian had already sweated all over. The cool air conditioning blew out, and Jian couldn't help but let out a long breath, but it was followed by embarrassment. This was the first time Jian was alone with his nominal sister. When he thought of her bad reputation outside, Jian couldn't help but feel his scalp tingling. "In 1 month, your junior year will be over." Xia Lingwei's words broke the awkward silence, and Jian finally breathed a sigh of relief. Do you have any plans or ideas for the future? No. What about internship? I remember you studied law. Do you want to come to the company's legal department? I'm not sure. If the conversation between the two siblings was seen by readers who were not familiar with them, they would think that the younger brother was the one who got the cool script. Jian actually has his own hobbies. As for why he studied law, it was simply because this major is more popular and the future employment rate is relatively high. However, it is also because his college entrance examination score is not as high as expected. If he wants to go to Jiangda, he must give up something. For example, apply for a weak major in Jiangda. Although he is not so passionate about law, Jian is a very principled person. Since he has chosen him, he must treat him well. So he has been preparing for the judicial examination in advance. As long as he gets the certificate, he will never starve to death in the future. Of course, Jian's hobbies have actually been making money, but not much. A failed online writer. It was this glorious hobby that made him taste the taste of cattle and horses at a young age. Updating diligently every day and earning a meager income every month. If it weren't for the hobby, Jian would have deleted his account long ago. You have to try it to know if it works. Come to the group's legal department when you have your internship. I will help you arrange it. Xia Lingwei spoke again after a moment of silence. Jian had to obey the orders of the overbearing president, even if it was an overbearing female president. After talking about work, Xia Lingwei had completed the task assigned by her father. The two fell into silence again. Fortunately, the dishes were served. The efficiency of private restaurants is high. In just over 10 minutes, 4 dishes and a soup were already on the table, which was better than what the two love-brained people at home ate. I heard that your ex-girlfriend cheated. Maybe the atmosphere on the scene was too awkward. Xia Lingwei found a new topic, but this topic was a bit heartbreaking. I've seen that Jianghai, but is not as handsome as you. Finding that the topic she had found seemed a bit heartbreaking, Xia Lingwei quickly made up a sentence, just as a comfort. But after hearing this, Jian felt that the food was even harder to swallow. Yes, he's not as handsome as me, and he drives my sister's Maybach, and then he snatched my girlfriend away, and it was my girlfriend who took the initiative to get close to him. What an irony. If possible, Jian would really prefer that the other party is more handsome than himself, richer than himself, and has better grades than himself. Unfortunately, there is no if. Xia Lingwei also found that she seemed to have said the wrong thing. She was decisive in the business world, but she was just a little pitiful in love, so how could she know how to comfort others? After thinking about it, she felt that she needed to say something to ease Jian's mood. If you like her very much, I'll give you the car I bought this morning. Xie Lingwei was very sad when she said this. She was not sad because of the car worth millions, this little money was nothing to her. What made her sad was that Jifan at least knew why he was heartbroken. If Jifan wanted to, he could always use money to make the other party change his mind. But she was even more pitiful, not even knowing why she was heartbroken. Jifan didn't want to say more. He was 100% sure that his sister was an emotional idiot, just like him. After taking a few bites of food, Jifan suddenly felt that the atmosphere was a little wrong. Xie Lingwei had put down her chopsticks and was in a daze. Although she didn't say a word, Jifan saw a lingering sadness in her eyes. Jifan remembered that when Uncle Xie talked about Xie Lingwei's love history in her junior year, he sighed and said, "Lingwei is like me, she is a love-brained girl." At that time, Jifan couldn't connect a cold female CEO with the three words, love-brained, but now it seems that what Uncle Xie said may not be unreasonable. A good lunch ended in silence. The two siblings were thinking their own thoughts, and no one paid attention to each other. On their way to send Jifan home, Jifan suddenly spoke without knowing what happened. "Sister, if your boyfriend cheated on you for some unavoidable reasons, and eventually led to the breakup of the two, would you forgive him?" The sharp brakes made Jifan almost think that he had encountered a car accident. He was so scared that he hugged his head quickly, but he waited for a long time but did not wait for the collision. He carefully exposed his eyes, and only put down his hands embarrassedly after seeing the car parked steadily on the side of the road. As soon as he raised his head, Jifan's eyes met Xie Lingwei's. After years of being in a high position, Xie Lingwei's sharp eyes were cultivated, and how could Jifan, a junior student, resist it? Xie Lingwei lowered her head with guilt, and restarted the car. The two did not say anything else along their way until they reached the door of their home. Xie Lingwei turned her head and looked at Jifan, and said every word seriously. "Whether to forgive or not is something I should consider, but first I have to know the truth, which is my right. Yes, whether the other party forgives me or not is her business, but she has the right to know, and I should tell the other party the truth before." At this moment, Jifan suddenly understood. "Thank you, sister, drive safely." After sending Jifan home, Xie Lingwei had to go back to the company. For a workaholic like her, work is her best antidote. Watching her sister drive away, Jifan immediately ran back to the room. My parents had long gone to a carefree place, and there were only two servants at home. Jifan quickly logged into the game, but the name he expected was Gray, proving that the other party had gone offline. Looking at the jumping dialog box, Jifan's hand began to tremble, and he slowly touched it. "Baby, is that you? Baby, are you back? I miss you so much. Baby, you must be lying to me. It's great that you're not dead." Chapter 8 Childhood Sweethearts, a perfect match. Jifan was moved. He didn't expect that the beautiful sister loved him so deeply. He was selfish. Because of his fear, he missed a sister who loved him for 3 years, and fell in love with a gold digger, wearing a green hat on himself. Maybe this is the punishment. If it weren't for this green hat, Jifan wouldn't have logged into the game by mistake, and he wouldn't have known that in a corner of the world, there was a sister waiting for him for 3 years. There are too many things to say, but I don't know where to start. After thinking about it, Jifan still sent a message. "Sister, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lie to you. This is my contact information. If you can forgive me, add my penguin. The game will definitely not be played again. If you want to renew the relationship, you have to meet in reality, but the penguin must use a small account." After sending the message, Jifan breathed a sigh of relief, as if a big stone had fallen from his heart. He had faked his own death and deceived a sister who loved him deeply for 3 years. If this matter was not resolved, he would carry the guilt for the rest of his life, and Jifan could not bear it. The next step was to wait for the other party's reaction. He didn't know when the beautiful sister would come back to play the game. Being tripped by 2 relationships in a row in one day made Jifan urgently need to do something to relieve it, so he turned on the computer. Tomato, start. Kill, kill, kill. That's right, the novels written by Jifan are the kind of brainless killing and collecting. The plot is not important, and the main theme is to do whatever you want. Today, he was cheated by a gold digger, so today he wrote 20,000 words to slap the gold digger in the face. Some things can't be done in reality, but fantasy can, otherwise what is the point of having a brain? Watching the hero in the novel gradually reveal his identity, he hugged the white-skinned, beautiful and long-legged school beauty, and looked down at the gold digger and the pretentious man kneeling on the ground. Jifan finally felt happy, and it was worth his hard work for so long. After turning off the computer, Jifan's stomach started to alarm at the right time. The lunch today was very rich, but the two people who were eating had their own thoughts. In such an atmosphere, Jifan didn't eat much at all. Pushing open the door, the huge villa was empty. Aunt Jiang and Aunt Wang were resting in the servants' room. Being a servant in the Xia family is definitely the happiest thing in this industry. The eldest lady's room does not need to be cleaned, she can clean it herself. The master and the lady's room does not need to be cleaned, the lady can clean it herself. The young master's room does not need to be cleaned, he can't tell whether it is cleaned or not. Moreover, the eldest lady works overtime every day and doesn't go home for dinner, the young master goes to school every day and doesn't come back for dinner, and the master and his wife go on their honeymoon every day and don't come back for dinner. Those who don't know would think that Aunt Jiang and Aunt Wang are the owners of this villa. The most important point is that in this family, there is no intrigue and no crazy master. I heard that the servants of the Jiu, Li, Lang, and Wu families next door have to cook lunch 7 or 8 times, and the masters often slam the table, and they will be buried with them if they disagree. It's too miserable. It's better to have your own master, saving worry and effort. And now, the good master in their hearts is walking around the kitchen with his hungry stomach, and then walked out of the house helplessly, and never thought of bothering them from beginning to end. Jifan is helpless, there is nothing to eat at home. Braised, spicy, clear soup, nothing. In conclusion, no food equals no instant noodles. Although Jifan lost his father at a young age, his mother gave him enough love. After being a young master in the Ji family for 18 years, Jifan came to the Xia family again. Jifan has been a young master for 21 years. Cooking is impossible for him. It just so happens that today he has recovered 300,000 yuan in funds, which means he has not lost money in the past 2 years. Jifan decided to be more unrestrained. Of course he can't be unrestrained alone. Jifan turned on his mobile phone when he went out. He has a close friend since childhood, Pei Xiaohua. Pei Xiaohua, the second son of Pei Group, is rich and handsome, but he is a loser, otherwise he would not be a close friend of Jifan. The two have been together for more than 10 years from elementary school to college. Jifan knows that Pei Xiaohua likes pink and purple underwear the most, and Pei Xiaohua also knows about Jifan's escape from death. In short, there are almost no secrets between the two, including the fact that Jifan is the stepson of the Xia family. Son, I'll give you 5 minutes. Come to my door to pick me up immediately. Dad will treat you to a big dinner tonight. Okay. To have a big dinner, it must be with your real father. It didn't take 5 minutes. 3 minutes later, Jifan saw Pei Xiaohua coming downstairs. That's right, the happiest person after Jifan moved into the Xia family was Pei Xiaohua, because the two of them would not only be childhood sweethearts, but also be well matched. Let's go. Pei Xiaohua sat in the driver's seat of the red Cadillac and snapped his fingers at Jifan. Sure enough, the person and the car were as flirty as each other. Who would wear pink and purple underwear? Sometimes Jifan would be ashamed of knowing Pei Xiaohua, but this guy never felt this way. Instead, he thought he was very handsome. What's the big event today? You want to treat me to a big meal. Tell me, are we going to the food stall next to Wanding Building, or the barbecue stall next to Jianghai International, or the snack street next to Rongxing Commercial Street? Even if he was dressed in fancy clothes, it was hard to hide the fact that he was a loser. Nothing more than that, he was a narcissistic loser, and Jifan was a shy loser. Barbecue stall. In this weather, beer and barbecue are the best. What? Zhao Feifei cheated on you. Fuck, what kind of a fool is Qin Hao? I'm going to kill him later. That's not right. Didn't you lose contact with that beautiful sister in the game a long time ago? Is she still waiting for you? Are you dead? After only 3 sips of wine, Pei Xiaohua had already exclaimed 3 times. Can you stop making so much noise? Can't eating barbecue stop you from talking? Do you want the whole world to know about me? Some people around the barbecue stall have already looked over. The Chinese people's melon-eating nature can explode at any time, anywhere, and at any time. After being forced to eat 4 or 5 skewers by Jifan, Pei Xiaohua finally calmed down. After eating everything, Pei Xiaohua patted Jifan on the shoulder and said, "Brother, let's do it one by one, and solve the cheating issue first. After speaking, Pei Xiaohua stood up, slapped the table, and shouted, "Boss, check out." At the same time, he slowly took out a rural credit union card from his pocket with his right hand. Seeing the idiotic looks from the people around him, Jifan wanted to find a hole to crawl into, even though he knew that Pei Xiaohua's rural credit card did have millions of pocket money. "Boss, scan the code." In order to prevent further social failure, Jifan quickly scanned the code to pay, dragged Pei Xiaohua away, and did not forget to warn him. "Remember not to pay for this next time, even if you pay for a night card, it will be more impressive than this." Chapter 9: The Next Batch. Milligram Club. When he looked up at the 4 big words of the feasting and revelry, Jifan was obviously stunned. "Brother, I'll treat you tonight and take you to relax. There are many good women in the world, but they are just dumped and cheated. I will find you 8 or 10 tonight to comfort your wounded heart. I guarantee that you will never remember the appearance of the gold digger when you open your eyes tomorrow." Jifan pushed away Pei Xiaohua, who was arm in arm with him, and said righteously, "Brother, I warn you, I'm not that kind of person. Also, tell me the truth, what's the matter with you looking like a regular customer? You know your own son best, he was not that kind of person before." Pei Xiaohua smiled mysteriously and pointed to his car. "It's all the car friends who taught you well. Don't worry, this club is newly opened, and it guarantees freshness and quality." Jifan wanted to escape, but the quality education he had received over the years told him that this was wrong. But when he saw 2 sweet girls in black silk and miniskirts waving at him at the door, Jifan decided not to run away. A real man should have the qualities to face any situation. It is a coward to retreat when faced with difficulties, and it is a true man to face difficulties. Besides, the sister has waved, and the sister will not hurt me, right? "Mr. Pei, you are here." As soon as he entered the door, the 2 sweet sisters boldly opened the microphone to Pei Xiaohua, and at the same time consciously leaned on him. Facing Jifan's murderous eyes, Pei Xiaohua smiled awkwardly and explained quickly. "Listen to me, this club has definitely only been open for a few days, but I just happened to come here a few times." Okay, it has been open for a few days, and I have come here a few times. It turns out that my brother has been here every day since it opened. Jifan must take a good look tonight to see what magic this club has that can attract his eldest son so much. Mr. Pei's cards, even if there are only 2 people, they must be in the largest Jianzi number 1 box, and the club manager will personally entertain them. As the manager clapped his hands, a row of women filed in. "Brother, I like those 2 bunny girls, or twins, you can pick the rest." This is not the first day Pei Xiaohua has come here, he already has prey. 2 bunny girls sat down on the left and right of Pei Xiaohua. I don't know what Pei Xiaohua said to them, but soon there were bursts of shy laughter. Jifan swallowed his saliva, looked at the row of prey still waiting in front of him, and waved his hand. Next batch. It's not that the quality of this batch is not good, but Jifan simply wants to try how good these 3 words are. The second batch was quickly sent up. Jifan held the red wine glass, his eyes narrowed slightly. Pei Xiaohua did not lie to himself, the quality here is indeed very good, each with its own beauty, it is difficult to choose. But at this time, Jifan suddenly looked at the woman in a nurse's uniform in the corner, and the scene of being killed by an Akali in 3 games this morning involuntarily emerged in his mind. She's the one. Jifan didn't hesitate any longer and pointed at the other party. The hall. The general manager stood respectfully in front of the 2 women to report the situation in the past few days. "Boss Xia, the new store has been open for 3 days and the loss is as high as hundreds of thousands. Should the activity continue?" Xia Lingwei glanced at him lightly, and Sujiro beside him immediately spoke up. "Manager Zhao only needs to be responsible for management. Are you questioning our boss Xia's decision, or are you afraid that our boss Xia can't afford the loss? Don't worry, in just half a month, there will definitely be a place for our Xia group in Jianghai's entertainment industry." Manager Zhao lowered his head and said, "I dare not. According to Xia Lingwei's practice, this club will lose 2 or 3 million yuan when it just opens. But once it is done, it will definitely be a huge profit. And Xia Group is entering the entertainment industry, and the club is just one of them, along with bars, KTV, billiard rooms, golf courses, etc., a series of which are launched at the same time. From the entertainment industry to entering the entertainment circle, this is Xia Lingwei's next important chess move. Now that entertainment competition and the internet economy are so developed, creating stars and internet celebrities are all profitable businesses, and Xia Group naturally cannot lag behind. It's the same with everything. Xia Lingwei either doesn't do it or she wants to be the best in Jianghai. A guest is coming so early. Sujiro looked at the lobby manager who had just walked out of the box area and asked curiously. It's not even 8 o'clock now, and it's still early for Jianghai's nightlife. It seems that the discount activities during this period are really attractive, allowing guests to give up other entertainment time just to come to Milligram early to take a seat. Assistant Su, it's Pei Xiao. He also brought a friend with a strange face today. It's probably his first time here. The lobby manager has seen countless people, and she can see the essence of a boy like Ji Fan at a glance. Pei Xiaohua. A stranger. Xia Lingwei frowned, and Sujiro beside her seemed to remember something, and hurriedly said, "Which box?" "Lead the way." The lobby manager didn't know what she said wrong, but since the boss had spoken, she immediately led the way. "Boss Xia, Assistant Su, this is it. There are 2 of them, and they called 3 more to accompany the drinks, so there are 5 people in total. Milligram Club has excellent confidentiality. The door is specially made, not only can you not see anything inside, but also the sound insulation effect is excellent. Plus the dynamic music that comes with the club, the people inside can't hear outside even if they shout at the top of their lungs. Open the door." The lobby manager looked at Xia Lingwei hesitantly. If you go in and see something not so good, not only will it pollute Boss Xia's eyes, but if it gets out, the club will not be able to open. Didn't you hear me? Open the door. Xia Lingwei repeated what Sujiro had just said. The lobby manager closed his eyes and thought, forget it. It's Mr. Xia's own business anyway. Let him die. The door was pushed open, and the loud music in the box came, and at the same time, there was laughter. How about it? I promise to make you forget your ex-girlfriend overnight, right? Don't worry, I'll pay for tonight. I'll pay for whatever you want to do. As long as you can handle it, I can even pay for 10 times the price. Xia Lingwei couldn't help it anymore after hearing this, and took the initiative to push the door open. Who is it? You're interrupting me and my brothers to have fun. Do you know who I am? Pei Xiaohua's voice sounded at the same time as the door was opened. Xia Lingwei saw the situation in the box at a glance. Pei Xiaohua was hugged by women on both sides, enjoying their way of having all their women. His eyes were about to fall into the arms of the sisters. Far away from him, Ji Fan was drinking alone. His sister in nurse costume was at least 2 meters away from him. It was not right to accompany him, nor was it right not to accompany him. Chapter 10 Young model in the club, caught red-handed. Really? Then tell me who you are. Xia Lingwei's cold voice sounded, and Pei Ershao, who was pretending to be drunk and taking advantage of others, sobered up instantly. He had seen the appearance of the woman at the door clearly. Thanks to Ji Fan, Pei Xiaohua had close contact with this Jianghai business legend several times, but he trembled every time. Xia Lingwei was very beautiful, so beautiful that Pei Xiaohua, an excellent student with 582 points in the college entrance examination, could only say, fuck, to describe it. But Pei Xiaohua discussed it with Ji Fan several times in private. He believed that if any man found a woman like Xia Lingwei, he would probably only experience the feeling of being suppressed for the rest of his life. Anyway, it was absolutely impossible for Pei Xiaohua. I'm not drunk, am I? Am I dazzled? Pei Xiaohua muttered to himself, wiping his eyes vigorously, but the exquisite face was still there, never leaving. Ji Fan, run, your frost witch is here to catch you, brother will hold you back. At the critical moment, Pei Xiaohua proved his feelings for Ji Fan with his actions. But this feeling only lasted for a second. When Xia Lingwei looked at him with sharp eyes, Pei Xiaohua immediately pretended to faint. Brother, it's not that I don't help you, it's just that your sister is too scary. Ji Fan had already seen Xia Lingwei when she entered the door, but Ji Fan's brain circuit was different from Pei Xiaohua's. He was curious about why his sister appeared in the club at night. Is there a melon? As expected of a cow and horse novel author, the melon-eating attribute has been engraved in his DNA, otherwise there would be so much material to write. Novels come from life, but they are higher than life. Let's go home. These 3 short words shattered Ji Fan's dream of eating melons and awakened his fear DNA. Sister, he brought me here, I didn't do anything. The first sentence was a quibble, which is the instinctive reaction of every man facing life and death. You can go now, this bill will be settled, and it will be put on Pei Xiao's account. Xie Lingwei looked at the girl in the nurse's uniform, and her words were calm, but the calmer she was, the more uneasy she was. Is Pei Xiao okay? Pei Xiaohua, who was pretending to be fainted just now, jumped up immediately, and said with a grin, "What are you talking about, Sister Xia? Of course I have no objection. Just now, I was quick-witted and called out her nickname of the Frost Witch. If I care about this, I will probably lose a layer of skin tonight." But now it seems that Xie Lingwei is in a good mood, and even calling her a nickname can be skipped. After dealing with the insignificant people, Xie Lingwei looked at Ji Fan. When Ji Fan came in, he was drinking alone. The woman was at least 2 meters away from him. Obviously, nothing happened between them. "Sister, why are you here so late?" Looking at Xie Lingwei approaching step by step, Ji Fan, who was always fearless, finally panicked. If his mother knew that he came to the club to order a woman, Sun Huia would definitely let Ji Fan relive her surging maternal love. This is the property of the Xia group. "Why do you think I'm here, brother?" Only then did Ji Fan realize that the woman following Xie Lingwei was Xie Lingwei's best friend and assistant. It's over, it's over. He actually had such a foolish idea that Xie Lingwei would come to the club to order a male model. Who is Xie Lingwei? Men who want to climb into her bed can go around the river and the sea for 2.5 weeks. Everyone has broad shoulders, narrow waists, small hips, 8-pack abs and long legs, and they all have prominent family backgrounds. As long as she beckons her finger, there is no such thing as a man. Why do you need to come here? After Xia's group has secured the title of Jianghai's #1 in the past 2 years, Xie Lingwei has completely become a hot commodity. Xia's group has only one daughter, Xie Lingwei. Getting her is equivalent to getting the entire Xia's group. Besides, Xie Lingwei is a stunning beauty. For most men, the sense of accomplishment of conquering an icy female president is something that they will have to show off on their tombstones after death. Ji Fan deeply reflected that he still didn't know this sister well enough. But Ji Fan reacted immediately. He glared at Pei Xiaohua fiercely, with anger in his eyes. The translation is roughly, "This is Xia's industry. Why didn't you say it earlier?" Pei Xiaohua had a hard time saying it, so he could only reply with his eyes. "Brother, I didn't think of asking you to show your face. It doesn't matter whether it is Xia's industry or not. It's just that who would have thought that this woman would come?" In this situation, Ji Fan can only admit defeat. "Have you two finished talking? Ji Fan, can you go home now?" Although it was a question, Ji Fan heard a 100% certainty from it. If he dared to answer no, he might not be able to be intact after returning. He stood up from the sofa honestly, and looked at the nurse-like sister reluctantly. He hadn't even touched her yet, so he lost a lot. If I had known that Xie Lingwei would come, I would have pretended to be reserved. If you say a word about what you saw today, you won't have to hang around in Jianghai in the future. The general manager and the lobby manager lowered their heads quickly, indicating that they didn't see anything. Watching Ji Fan being taken away by Xie Lingwei, Pei Xiaohua's face was indescribably sad. After 3 seconds of silence for his brother, he could only drink with hatred, and at the same time hugged the nurse-like sister. "What you paid for must not be wasted. It's just that I have to suffer tonight." 3. Perhaps on a whim, Xie Lingwei didn't drive at night. Sujiro was the driver, and Xie Lingwei sat in the back seat early, which made Ji Fan a little embarrassed. After a moment of hesitation, he still sat in the back seat obediently. The atmosphere in the car was a little dull, which made Ji Fan more nervous. After hesitating again and again, Ji Fan still spoke to break the silence. "Sister, I really didn't do anything, don't tell Mom." Xie Lingwei's eyes were closed, and her long eyelashes trembled, which was very beautiful. After hearing Ji Fan's words, she just nodded slightly, maybe afraid that Ji Fan didn't hear it, and squeezed out a hum from her nasal tone. Although Xie Lingwei was cold, she would never regret what she said, so Ji Fan was relieved. As long as her mother didn't know, everything else was fine. Ji Fan didn't want to feel the love from his own mother again in his life. The night in Jianghai was beautiful, less dusty during the day, and more chic and comfortable. Sometimes, when you work like a beast of burden for too long, you tend to forget whether you are working for a living or just for a living. Soon, Sujiro sent them to the door of the villa. Before getting off the car, Xie Lingwei suddenly patted Sujiro on the shoulder. By the way, I see he seems to be very idle. Please arrange something for him. The jewelry store under the company needs to promote new products. Let him go to distribute flyers tomorrow. There is no salary. Chapter 11: The Evil Capitalist. My parents haven't come back yet. If nothing unexpected happens, I won't see them for a long time. Because of the disturbance of the two siblings at noon, Xie Jian and Sun Huia, who had been home for less than a week, hurriedly bought the latest batch of tickets and flew to Malaysia in the afternoon to spend time alone. The only thing left for the siblings was a cold text message. They are true love, and we are both accidents. Jifan glanced at his sister, who was in the same situation, sighed and returned to his room. As soon as he returned to the room, Jifan stopped pretending, grabbed the pillow and beat it violently, muttering something. Damn capitalist, evil capitalist, only knows how to exploit me. Dong dong dong. A polite knock on the door sounded, and Jifan suddenly got up from the bed. The door opened, and Xie Lingwei's exquisite face was outside. I told the Pei family about Pei Xiaohua, and I told Auntie about you. Don't play with those questionable people in the future. She is exquisite, but cold. Wait. What did she just say? Told Mom. No, you damn woman, why don't you keep your word? The door was shut tightly, and Jifan's cell phone rang at the same time. The caller ID showed the vicious mother. You are so bold, you know how to find women outside at the age of 21, right? During the days when I was away from home, you should listen to Ling Wei. If I find out that you make mistakes again, you will die. After the identification of the biological mother, anyone who had a little guess would not dare to say such a cruel word. After finally comforting his mother, Jifan had cursed Xie Lingwei dozens of times in his heart. This woman, how can she change her face at any time? I thought she seemed to be in a good mood today before. Could it be that her period suddenly came after she came back? When facing a woman, when you can't explain it with facts and theories, you can only explain it with your period. Forget it, I'm a good man and don't fight with women, so I won't bother Xie Lingwei. Anyway, Jifan will never admit that he is afraid. After calming down for a while, Jifan remembered a very important thing. This afternoon, I left my penguin account to the beautiful sister in the game. Why hasn't she added me yet? Could it be that it's just my wishful thinking? Jifan quickly took the phone and remembered an important thing. I left a small account, and the phone logged in with the big account. No wonder I didn't receive the friend adding message. Jifan quickly switched to login, and just when it showed that the login was successful, the background message kept ringing. Except for a few advertisements, the rest were all new friend adding prompts, and they were all the same person, starting from 3 o'clock this afternoon, and the most recent application was 10 minutes ago. At that time, I was being inexplicably sued by Xie Lingwei. Pooh, why did I think of Xie Lingwei at this time? Jifan quickly threw away the things in his mind, and then quickly accepted the other party's friend request, and changed the note, beautiful sister. Sister, I'm sorry, I've been busy today and didn't see your message. The other party replied immediately after sending it. It seems that she has been waiting with her phone. This deep affection touched Jifan. The beautiful sister is so good to him, otherwise, should he obey her? Baby, I knew you were not dead. You really lied to me. That's great, woo tilde. He didn't even ask himself why he used death to deceive her. There was only love and endless concern that was surging to overflow the screen. Sister, have you been doing well in the past 3 years? Jifan's eyes were filled with tears. This is his beautiful sister. Even after more than 3 years, she is still the same as she was then, without the slightest change. The top love brain is just like this, right? And it's an online love. Jifan couldn't believe it. If he really was with her, how happy he would be. It's not good at all. I miss you so much, baby. But it doesn't matter. As long as baby is fine, it's better than anything else. Looking at the words, baby again and again, Jifan felt no discomfort in his heart. Thinking about the 2 years that Zhao Feifei had been dating him, she would occasionally call him baby a few times, but every time she called him baby, she had a purpose. It was either a bag or a watch. Unlike the pretty sister, every word of baby represented her care and love. Pooh, why did I think of that gold digger at this time? She is not even as good as a hair of her pretty sister, what a sin. After getting back in the mood, Jifan continued to look at his phone. After 3 years, to be honest, Jifan was a little nervous at the beginning, but under the fierce offensive of the pretty sister, Jifan quickly got used to the pretty sister's coquettishness and cuteness again, and everything seemed to have returned to 3 years ago. At that time, they were just as sweet as now. Although Jifan was the younger brother, the pretty sister's clingy and coquettish appearance made her seem like the younger one. Jifan and Xilingwei's rooms are both on the second floor, but one is at the southernmost end and the other is at the northernmost end, with 4 or 5 bedrooms in between. In Xilingwei's room, Xilingwei no longer looks like a cold and beautiful female CEO. Her pretty face is full of spring, and she looks like a little girl in love. At this moment, she looked at the screen of her mobile phone shyly, constantly sending those shy and mushy expressions and words, with stars in her eyes. More than a dozen unread messages flashed wildly on her work phone, but she seemed to have not seen them, and only cared about holding her personal mobile phone and laughing foolishly. A workaholic who becomes a love brain only needs a younger brother. 1 o'clock in the morning. Sister, I still have a lot to say to you, but it's getting late and I should rest. I still have to work tomorrow. Jifan yawned, and felt uncomfortable when he thought that he would be caught by Xilingwei to do hard labor early tomorrow morning, and it was hard labor without salary. After a few hours of contact, the two of them also find out each other's situation in recent years. Xilingwei successfully graduated from college and now joins her own company, but she didn't say what she does specifically. Jifan is about to be a senior. In addition to attending classes, he has to work part-time to make money during weekends. Baby, isn't tomorrow Sunday? Do you have to work on Sunday? Sister, you don't know, my boss is a perverted female devil, an evil capitalist. It's terrible, all capitalists are demons. Looking at the message sent by the other party, Xilingwei fell into deep thought. I wanted to tell Bao that I have money, he doesn't need to work anymore, I can support him. But looking at his current appearance, it is estimated that he has been hit hard by society. If I rashly tell him that I am the daughter of Xia, the richest man in Jianghai city, what if Bao can't accept it and runs away again? Xilingwei can only continue to endure. Baby, go to bed early, I miss you, good night. Good night. With the last good night, Xilingwei put down the phone. My baby, you are finally back. I don't care why you lied to me, as long as you are back. Chapter 12, I never came out. Jifan suffered from yesterday's excitement. When he appeared in the jewelry store under the Xia group with 2 panda eyes, the clerks were shocked. Xiaofan, what's wrong with you? Didn't you get enough rest? This is not the first time that Jifan has come here to distribute flyers part-time, and the staff here also know him. But everyone knows Jifan who works and studies, not Jifan, the young master of the Xia group. It's okay, Sister Li, I just had some insomnia last night, it's okay. Young people, it's not a big problem to sleep less. When I played games all night before, I still had to attend classes the next day. Okay, but your workload today is a bit heavy. The boss specifically told you not to leave until you finish distributing. Sister Li looked at Jifan distressedly and pointed at the flyers that had been prepared long ago. Although Jifan had been prepared, he still gasped when he saw the 6 piles of flyers piled up like a hill. Xilingwei, so cruel. On the second floor of the jewelry store. Wei, isn't that too harsh? Watching Jifan struggling to hold the flyers that could cover his face as he walked out of the store, Sujiro felt a little sorry. Xilingwei glanced at her and said calmly, Auntie gave him to me, so I have to be responsible for him. Do you still want to see him in the club? Sujiro shook her head. That's all. Sooner or later, he will have to help manage the Xia group. If he can't even handle this little difficulty, how can he manage such a large group? How can he deal with those fierce business enemies? When I first took over the mess of the Xia group, the conditions were much more difficult than he is now, and the things he had to do were much more difficult than he is now. I believe he can do it. Sujiro was stunned. She was Xilingwei's best friend, so she naturally understood the implication of Xilingwei's words. You want to hand over the Xia group to him? Xilingwei nodded. You know the relationship between aunt and my father. It is my father's honor to find a wife like aunt, so we are naturally a family. If he is a promising talent, I will hand over all of the Xia group to him in the future. Even if he is not a promising talent, I can't let him go astray. After a pause, Xilingwei said again. It's okay that he had a money-worshipping girlfriend before. Young people always have to suffer a little in love to grow up. But if he is devastated by this little thing, then he should stay at home and be a qualified rich second generation. I will arrange the rest of his life for him. After all, it is the Xia family's family affairs. Even the best girlfriends can't interfere. But Sujiro can complain about other things. I don't know who almost lost his love, and he still has the nerve to say brother Ji-fan. I think he is much more rational than you. In the past, Xia Lingwei would have a cold face every time she mentioned this matter. But today, not only did she not have a cold face, but she actually blushed. Sujiro widened her eyes, covered her mouth with one hand, and pointed at her with the other hand. Xia Lingwei, you can't be. He is alive, and you are trapped again. Xia Lingwei nodded shyly. Not only did she fall into it, she had never come out of it. Well, I must train Ji-fan to be a qualified president, so that I can live with my brother in the future, just like my father and aunt. Ji-fan naturally didn't know the conversation on the second floor. He only knew that if he didn't finish distributing these flyers, his cold-blooded sister might really not let him leave work. Legend has it that the female devil led the company to work overtime for 7 consecutive days and nights just to get a project. Of course, the legend must be a little watery, but it is enough to explain the female devil's perversion. The river and sea in June started to get hot at 8 o'clock. After just 20 minutes outside, Ji-fan's body was soaked with sweat. Hello, excuse me for 10 seconds. Can you take a look at our new jewelry? Hello, this is our new jewelry. You can take a look. There are great discounts now. Sorry to take up your time for a while. This is our new jewelry. It is tailor-made for ordinary people. It is good quality and cheap. Today is Sunday. As time goes by, more and more people are coming to the commercial street. Finally, Ji-fan sees some hope. At 9:20, Ji-fan returned to the store after handing out the first stack of flyers. After only 3 minutes of rest, he picked up the second stack and walked out. Looking at Ji-fan's back as he left, the staff in the store finally couldn't help it and secretly gathered together to chat. I don't know if Xiefan has offended anyone. This is obviously tormenting him. Yes, Xiefan is such a good child. Just look at his clothes and you can tell that his family is not a wealthy family. He has to work and study on weekends, but I don't know who is targeting him maliciously. Forget it, say less. We are also workers. Don't let others hear us and get hurt. Although they have some sympathy for Ji-fan, they also have their own families and lives. They are just ordinary people. It is impossible for them to bear some unwarranted disasters for Ji-fan. This is the reality of society. When you can't resist, it's best to put away your fangs. It was already 10:40 when the second stack was all distributed. Ji-fan did not stop to rest and continued with the third stack. Thanks to the increase in the population of the commercial street, the third stack was the fastest. It took only 1 hour to distribute all. When I returned to the store, it was almost 12 o'clock, and the staff began to eat lunch in batches. The store doesn't provide meals. Most of the employees prepare the meals at home the night before and bring them in a thermos box. Ji-fan got up late today and was almost late. Not to mention bringing meals, he hadn't even had breakfast yet and was already hungry. The efficiency of handing out flyers around 12 o'clock is very slow. No one wants to go shopping outside under the scorching sun, so most people stay in the restaurant at this time, and Ji-fan can take this time to take a break and have lunch. Hey, isn't this Ji-fan? Why, handing out flyers here again? Just after sitting down in the store, a strange voice suddenly came from the door, causing Ji-fan to raise his head. Outside the store, 2 women dressed up in fancy clothes were looking at the sweaty Ji-fan with disgust. Their exaggerated expressions and movements made people think they were upper-class people. Ji-fan knew these 2 people, Lin Yue and Xiao Yaxiao, college classmates. Should you eat at noon? You should cover your mouth when you talk. But covering it is useless, it still stinks. I forgot to introduce that Ji-fan's League of Legends account is in Zhuan, and the available information has always been 5. Ji-fan, how dare you say that about us? Believe it or not, I will let Zhao Feifei break up with you immediately. It would be fine if Zhao Feifei was not mentioned, but when Zhao Feifei was mentioned, Ji-fan became even angrier. I was not angry that she cheated on him and dumped him, but that if it hadn't been for Zhao Feifei, Pei Xiaohua would not have taken him to the club, and he would not have this unpaid job today. So, Zhao Feifei is the original sin. Yo, You're thinking of moving the master out just after I said a word to you? You're really loyal. Chapter 13 Top Love Brains Can Self-Attack. To put it nicely, Lin Yuwei and Xiao Yaxiao are both Zhao Feifei's best friends, but in fact they are Zhao Feifei's followers. Gold diggers like Zhao Feifei are often too embarrassed to ask for help, so they need someone to help them. For example, when she asked Jifan for a gift. Jifan used to be in it without knowing it, but now that he has come to his senses, he seems to have been tricked by the other party. How could he be so stupid? Jifan, I want to see how long you can hold on. I'll tell Feifei now, you just wait to kneel down and beg for mercy. Jifan made a gesture of please go ahead. He didn't have so much time to waste with these two jumping clowns. He was hungry and had to eat. After eating, there was a large stack of flyers waiting for him. Jifan, if you have the guts, don't run. You're just a coward, you bumpkin. I'm telling you, you can run away on the first day, but not on the 15th day. Just wait until tomorrow to kneel down and apologize to Feifei. Jifan ignored the barking of the dog behind him. He trotted all the way to the alley next to the commercial street. There was a clay pot rice restaurant here that tasted very authentic, and the price was affordable and the portion was large. Jifan used to eat here every time he distributed flyers. Boss, 1 serving of eggplant and minced meat. Scan the code, pay, take a number, and wait for the meal. After completing all this, Jifan opened the mobile phone Penguin. In order to concentrate on work, Jifan turned off the message reminder. Now when he turned it on, dozens of unread messages popped up at once. Baby, are you still busy? Baby, is it hot there? Is your work hard? Baby, haven't you gotten off work yet? I'm so bored and miss you. Jifan's mouth corners slightly raised, and he replied quickly. Sister, I just got off work. It's not hard to know that you are waiting for me. Jifan's message was sent out, and the other party replied immediately, as if she was staring at the phone all the time waiting for Jifan's message. The fatigue of the morning suddenly dissipated at this moment. Baby's boss is so hateful. Can't he even eat on time at noon? Don't work for such a scumbag boss. The beautiful sister was indignant. Baby, why don't you quit? I'll introduce you to a part-time job. How about near Jiangda? Jifan's body was shocked. Near Jiangda? Does the beautiful sister work there? Doesn't that mean that the two people are actually very close? Maybe at some point, the two of them had passed by each other, but they just didn't know each other. Sister, although my boss is a bit black-hearted, he is still a good person, so I won't bother you. Don't worry, sister, I'm also a part-time worker, and I'm only tired 2 days a week at most. The main reason is that the boss pays me a lot. Jifan was not ready to meet the other party yet, and he refused tactfully without thinking. Although Jifan was very sure that the beautiful sister was a love-brained person, and she was still a love-brained person for him, after all, they hadn't been in contact for more than 3 years. Jifan hoped that the other party was not having an illusion because of the sudden loss and recovery. It is best to consider the follow-up matters after both parties have completely calmed down. I listen to you. After the two of them were sick for a while, Jifan put down his phone. The happy sweet time is over, and the next is the sad working time. Xia Group is like the new year today. The reason is that President Xia looks particularly happy today. Not only did he not hold a meeting at noon to let everyone eat on time, he even nodded in response when greeting his subordinates. Even employees who made some minor mistakes could get President Xia's gentle comfort, asking them to pay attention next time. It is rumored that many people saw President Xia smile today, but it is only a rumor, without pictures and without truth. Many people suspect that President Xia has been possessed, otherwise these things today cannot be explained at all. Xia Lingwei, Weiwei, President Xia. Sujiro suddenly felt that her world was about to collapse. Today she was extremely busy. Many things that Xia Lingwei used to do personally were now all on her assistant. Faced with her doubts, Xia Lingwei only said one sentence. Jiro, Ruru, you will definitely help me, right? Having not seen Xia Lingwei like this for 3 years, Sujiro finally softened her heart. But she didn't expect that while she was busy, Xia Lingwei did nothing all morning, just sitting in the office holding her mobile phone and laughing foolishly. Originally, Sujiro thought she was messaging her boyfriend. As a result, her boyfriend didn't reply to her at all. She spent the whole morning looking through their chat history from last night and then giggling. It was finally time for lunch, but the boyfriend showed up again, and then it became the current situation. Sujiro starved with the giggling Xia Lingwei. Ru, wait a little longer. I'll go to dinner with you right away. I'll treat you at noon. You can order whatever you want. I'll treat you to dinner and a midnight snack. Sujiro took a deep breath, her eyes suddenly became serious, and she looked at Xia Lingwei solemnly, and at the same time reached out to hold Xia Lingwei's face that even women would fall in love with. Xia Lingwei, no matter how you talk to your lover, remember one thing, don't reveal your true identity. Pure love is not that easy. If he knows your identity, your love may change. Sujiro doesn't believe that no one can resist money. If you can do it, it means that the money is not enough. Coincidentally, what Xia Lingwei lacks the least now is money. Xia Lingwei is a love-brained person, but not a fool. Seeing Sujiro's serious look, Xia Lingwei also nodded seriously. Don't worry, I didn't tell him my identity, let's talk about it first. But I can feel that my baby is still the same as 3 years ago, not changed at all. Sujiro gave up, and secretly made up her mind in her heart that she must not be a love-brained person in the future, and she must not become like Xia Lingwei. The other party didn't say a few words to her, and she conquered herself. At 12:40, Xia Lingwei finally put down her phone. At this time, Sujiro was already very hungry, and she was wolfing down the takeaway by herself. Jiro, I can feel his concern for me, and he still has feelings for me. I have decided that I will complete the next stage of the company this month, and then give myself a long vacation. I will go to see him in a month. Sujiro sighed and shook her head. She was in the late stage of love brain and there was no cure. She could only go with her best friend at that time. According to her personality, if the person opposite her was a ghost fire boy with dyed yellow hair, she might run with him. Chapter 14 Give her a big gift. Monday. Jifan was intercepted by Pei Xiaohua as soon as he entered the school. Looking at his sneaky look, Jifan couldn't help but kick him. If you have something to say, just say it. Don't look so disgusting. Pei Xiaohua still looked around a few times, and only breathed a sigh of relief after confirming that Jifan came alone. Jifan, you have hurt me so much. Your crazy sister didn't keep her word and told my father about it. The night before yesterday, I was caught by my father before I could realize my big bed. Poor my twin bunny girls, poor my nurse sister. Jifan glared at him. The two grew up wearing the same pants, how could he not know his little thoughts? Okay, don't pretend, I forgive you for what happened the day before yesterday. Pei Xiaohua didn't breathe a sigh of relief until he heard Jifan's words. No matter what, it was he who brought Jifan there that day. If Jifan's mother knew about this, she would probably come to their house with a broom to make trouble next time. As long as Jifan doesn't care, everything will be fine. Wow, Senior Qin Hao is so handsome. Senior Qin Hao is handsome and rich, and he is also the president of the student union. Isn't he too perfect? I heard that Senior Qin Hao is with Senior Zhao Feifei. I don't know what Senior Qin Hao likes about her. The conversation of several girls next to them attracted the attention of the two. Jifan subconsciously turned his head and saw Qin Hao walking in with a showy look on his face. He seemed to enjoy the feeling of being the center of attention. He would occasionally play with his chicken coop-like hair. I don't know where he was handsome. Dare to steal my brother's girlfriend, Jifan, wait, I will kill him now. Jifan quickly grabbed Pei Xiaohua. This guy is like a fool. Maybe he can really do such a thing. But it is a waste of time to make a big deal for these two dogs and men. Don't make trouble. I have already received 300,000 yuan from Qin Hao. He should be the one to act pretentious. Pei Xiaohua was stunned for a moment, looking at Jifan eagerly. Mr. Zhuo? You mean Mr. Zhuo? 300,000 yuan, it was paid on the spot, Qin Hao's father paid for it. Pei Xiaohua silently gave Jifan a thumbs up. Sure enough, his brother is not the kind of person who will suffer losses. He recognized a gold digger and earned 300,000 yuan back. This business is something that anyone with a normal mind knows how to do. However, sometimes it is not useful if you don't go looking for trouble. Some troubles will come to you on their own. Jifan. A roar of a lion in Hedong, the voice is quite familiar, but after losing the love filter, Jifan feels more and more that he must have been cursed at the beginning, otherwise how could he fall in love with her? Being named by Zhao Feifei, there is no point for Jifan to hide. Qin Hao, who was originally pretending to be happy, also heard Zhao Feifei's voice and his face turned green in an instant. Jifan. Why is he here too? He won't expose me in front of so many people, right? If everyone knows that I am just the son of a driver, the image I have worked hard to build for so many years will be ruined overnight. Brother Qin Hao, you are here too. Before, Zhao Feifei only saw Jifan and didn't see Qin Hao behind him, but she immediately found Qin Hao's figure after approaching. It only took a second for Zhao Feifei's facial expression to change drastically. That was the smile that Jifan had never seen in the 2 years they had been dating. Brother Qin Hao, you ignored me all day yesterday. Is there something wrong with you? I don't want to bother you, I just haven't seen you for a day and I miss you very much. Jifan looked at Qin Hao with a smile, and Qin Hao was embarrassed and wanted to find a hole to crawl into. He didn't know what Jifan was thinking at this time. He only knew that he must quickly get away from this Shura field and must not let Jifan expose his true identity. Thinking of this, Qin Hao quickly shook off Zhao Feifei, who had just rushed over, snorted coldly, and turned away. Brother Hao, why don't you pay attention to me? Brother Hao, don't go, wait for me. But the more she shouted, the faster Qin Hao walked. He just wanted to stay away from this unlucky woman. He was afraid that he would not be able to help but slap her twice. After all, he would think of his 300,000 yuan as soon as he saw her. Qin Hao ran away. Zhao Feifei turned back and glared at Jifan fiercely. Jifan, did you say bad things about me in front of Brother Hao? I tell you, if Brother Hao ignores me, you're dead. After saying that, Zhao Feifei trotted towards Qin Hao again. The way she ran for love, whoever saw it would praise her for her deep love. Jifan, who didn't say a word, thought he had watched a farce, but this farce was far from over. As soon as he returned to the classroom, Zhao Feifei ran in angrily, followed by her 2 lackeys Lin Yue and Xiao Yaxiao. Jifan, I didn't expect you to be such a person. Are you jealous of me? So you deliberately slandered me in front of Brother Hao. I told you a long time ago that I don't love you. I promised you at the beginning because I felt sorry for you and wanted to help you regain your self-esteem. I never thought you would want to rely on me for this. There were still 10 minutes before class. Looking at the angry Zhao Feifei in front of him, Jifan wanted to open her brain to see what brand of paste was in it. The master spoke, and as her followers, they naturally couldn't do nothing. What's more, they were scolded by Jifan yesterday and are still angry now. I was wondering how dare you confront us yesterday, Jifan. It turns out that you were dumped by our Feifei. I advise you not to have any bad thoughts. You are a poor student who has to hand out flyers to earn a living every weekend. Are you worthy of being compared with Master Qin Hao? If you really anger our Feifei, I can crush you to death with just one finger. Lin Yue and Xiao Yaxiao said one sentence each, and they cooperated well. Jifan took a deep breath. It was really noisy. Just then, the class bell rang and the teacher entered the classroom. The farce ended in vain. Jifan, why did you stop me just now? With my violent temper, I would have killed them. Pei Xiaohua was very angry. He was about to jump out and slap this stupid gold digger in the face, but was stopped by Jifan. Jifan shook his head. He originally thought that 300,000 was the end of this matter, but now it seems that 300,000 is just the beginning. Qin Hao did get a certain punishment, but the culprit was actually Zhao Feifei. Now Jifan had regained his beautiful sister and didn't want to bother with her, but he had given his heart to her in the past 2 years. Now that she had slandered him like this, how could Jifan, with his vengeful character, let her go? Since we want to play, we have to play big. The fun has just begun. Give me Qin Hao's contact information. I want to give Zhao Feifei a big gift. Chapter 15. It's unfortunate to have such a sister. Although no one knew what Jifan wanted Qin Hao's contact information for, based on Pei Xiaohua's understanding of Jifan, someone was about to be in trouble. There were only 2 classes on Monday morning. At 9:40, Jifan woke up Pei Xiaohua, who was sleeping on the desk, and the two left the classroom one after the other. Feifei, he must have said bad things about you behind your back, which caused Qin Hao to ignore you. Are we just going to let him go? Lin Yue said viciously while looking at Jifan's back. Zhao Feifei glared at him. Do I need you to teach me how to do things? The most important thing now is to talk things over with Brother Hao. It's never too late to deal with this loser. On the playground, Qin Hao ran over without stopping after receiving Ji Fan's message and is still out of breath. Master Ji, if you have anything to say, just make arrangements over the phone. Why do you need to come to me in person? Qin Hao was very cautious when he came, for fear that other classmates would see the two of them meeting here. If that happened, the image he had maintained for many years would completely collapse. But he couldn't afford to offend Ji Fan. Ji Fan took a look at Qin Hao. This boy really looked like a decent guy. He was fair and clean, and had a bit of the demeanor of a young master. No wonder he had been pretending to be cool in school for so many years without any failure. That Zhao Feifei is too annoying, go and deal with it. Qin Hao. Ji Fan looked at him speechlessly and said, "What are you thinking? I asked you to take good care of her and not let her bother me again in the future. Understand? As for whether you did it by deception or by sleeping with her, I don't care. Think about it carefully. You spent $300,000 on her. You should get the money back from her, right?" Qin Hao's expression changed. Zhao Feifei is indeed pretty. Although she is not stunningly beautiful, she is quite sexy, otherwise Qin Hao would not have chosen her. I was feeling sorry for not only losing my wife but also my army. But now, from Ji Fan's tone, he said he had no feelings for Zhao Feifei at all. Did I sleep with her? Didn't they say he was Zhao Feifei's liquor? It seems rumors kill people. Don't worry, Master Ji. I promise that from today on, Zhao Feifei will never have the time to bother you again. As for the 300,000, I will find a way to get it back from her. As long as Ji Fan doesn't care, Qin Hao will definitely be able to deal with a woman like Zhao Feifei. As the saying goes, there is always someone better. A gold digger girl has to be coaxed by a pretentious guy. They are a perfect match. Ji Fan patted Qin Hao on the shoulder and nodded with satisfaction. Not bad, not bad. You, a villain, have some intelligence. You know what to do and what not to do. I thought Qin Hao was the kind of brainless villain who forced himself to imagine things every day, denied his own identity, and would not turn back until he hit a wall. Now it seems that I was worrying too much. This guy is very smart. Master Ji, you're joking. I just like to act cool, but I'm not stupid. Otherwise, how could I have been admitted to Jianghai University? Besides, I never said I was a rich young man. That was all in their imagination. These women who took the initiative to climb into my bed are not good people. They just do it for money. Since she's a bad girl, she can't be missed. I have to say that Qin Hao is indeed a talented guy. I don't know how many gold diggers he seduced with such packaging during his college years. But Ji Fan also became curious. Aren't you afraid that they will find out and cause trouble for you? Qin Hao chuckled. Even if they find out later that I'm not a rich young man, they can only suffer in silence. After all, they still have to look for their next target. They can't fight to the death with me. And every one of my girlfriends would publicly declare their sovereignty in school. It would be useless for her to call the police. All the students in the school can testify that she is my girlfriend, and she took the initiative. It's high, really high. No wonder Qin Hao had 7 or 8 girlfriends in his 3 years at school and never had any problems. The goal and positioning are clear, so he should be happy. After explaining to Qin Hao, Ji Fan left. Next, Qin Hao would be left to deal with Zhao Feifei. It would be fine as long as she didn't pop up every few days to cause trouble for him. In the next few days, Zhao Feifei did not come to disturb him again. She even often did not come to the classroom. She was having a hot affair with Qin Hao. And Ji Fan has been getting along very well with his beautiful sister these days. The 3 years did not become an obstacle between them. Instead, it allowed their feelings to grow stronger and stronger. Baby, tomorrow is the weekend, do you have any plans? Can we meet? SHYJPG. Looking at the message on the phone, Ji Fan fell into deep thought. Want to meet? It seemed to have come a little too suddenly. What's more, my family doesn't know about my online romance. If I get together with my online lover before I graduate, my mother will definitely come back from the plane at night and beat me to death. Sister, I have to work on the weekends, and I'm not ready yet. Can I wait until after the summer vacation? Baby, I'll do whatever you say, as long as you don't leave me again. Looking at the message from the beautiful sister, Jifan suddenly felt that he was not a real person. He actually faked his death and deceived the beautiful sister for 3 years. I don't know how my beautiful sister managed to survive these 3 years alone, which is why she has become so cautious now. I just hope I don't leave her again. Don't worry, sister. I will never leave you again. Wait until summer vacation. I'll go see you as soon as possible during summer vacation. Office of the President of Xia Group. As soon as Sujiro saw Xia Lingwei's red little face, she knew that it was her beloved brother who had sent her a message again. A woman in love is so scary. Fortunately, the Xia Group now has a strong enough foundation, so even if Xia Lingwei becomes a hands-off boss, it won't be a big problem. She just needs to make decisions at critical moments. Boss Xia, tomorrow is Saturday. Are you still going to arrange work for your brother? Younger brother. Xia Lingwei's eyes lit up. Hey, Xia Lingwei, stop being possessed. I'm talking about your biological half-brother, not your love brother. Xia Lingwei's eyes returned to normal and she looked at the message on her phone again, finally focusing on the sentence, "Sister, I have to work on the weekend." Arrange it. It must be arranged. Arrange it vigorously. Baby has to work on weekends to earn a living, so why should he have a rest? Sujiro mourned for Jifan in her heart for 3 seconds. It was really his misfortune to have such a love-brained sister. By the way, there is a dinner party tomorrow night to celebrate the successful completion of Xia Group's last billion contract. You have to attend. Xia Lingwei nodded. Call Jifan as well, and have him work as a waiter in the evening so that he can get familiar with Jianghai's upper-class circles in advance. Chapter 16. What level? I also want to enter the Xia family banquet. After being busy all day, Jifan thought he could have a good rest at night, and then he received the security uniform thrown to him by Sujiro. What is this for? Jifan looked at Sujiro, who suddenly appeared with a confused look on his face, while looking at the uniform in his hand. This is a good thing. Wearing it can save you 40 years of DTIC. There is a dinner party tonight, and your sister arranged for you to work as a security guard. It's paid. Jifan's first reaction was to throw away the clothes. I finally have a weekend, and not only do I not get to rest during the day, but why do I have to do it at night? Besides, what's the point of going to that kind of dinner party, just to watch a bunch of people pretending to be cool, bragging, and showing off? Boring. You have to understand your sister. Sujiro knew that Jifan would not agree so easily. In the past few years, Sujiro has had more contact with Jifan than Xia Lingwei has. At home, Jifan and Xia Lingwei rarely see each other throughout the year, and Sujiro is responsible for contacting and arranging part-time jobs for Jifan on weekends. On the surface, the relationship between Jifan and Xia Lingwei is not even as good as that of ordinary classmates or friends. But Sujiro knew that this was not the case. Jifan is a very polite younger brother, and Xia Lingwei is a well-educated older sister. It's just that many times in this world, things are just a coincidence. 3 years ago, just when Xia Lingwei had just come out of the shadow of her online romance with her younger brother, Jifan came into her family. Watching Jifan's every move, Xia Lingwei always unconsciously thought of her online love brother, so she reduced the number of times she met him. But Xia Lingwei was still very good to her younger brother in private, otherwise she wouldn't have been so angry when she saw him in the club that night. In her heart, Jifan has long been her younger brother. It's not that I don't understand my sister, but I really don't like occasions like this. That's why I asked you to be a security guard. Or you can accompany your sister tonight. It's your choice. Jifan quickly hugged the security uniform in his arms tightly and thought, forget it, I'd better be a security guard. If he attended the event with his sister, it would definitely make the headlines tomorrow, and that was not what he wanted to see. 8 o'clock in the evening, Junyi Mansion. Jifan was already waiting at the door early. Xia Lingwei's meaning was very clear. She wanted him to have a general understanding of these upper-class people in Jianghai so that he would not meet them on the street and not know who they were. As an old and wealthy family in Jianghai city, Xia's family, under the leadership of Xia Lingwei, not only revived in just 3 years, but also reached the top again. All the important people in Jianghai business community will attend Xia's banquet, and everyone is proud to receive an invitation from Xia. And I heard that Xia Lingwei will also be present today, and many young men have already made preparations. If anyone can win over Xia Lingwei, this frost rose, then he will be able to get whatever he wants in this world. The banquet didn't start until 8 o'clock, but many people had already entered early. Although Jifan is a part-time worker, he has become the security captain tonight, which is the first case. All it can be said is that Xia Lingwei is tough on the outside but soft on the inside, fearing that Jifan will suffer. Please show me your invitation. Jifan mechanically repeated the same sentence, then took the other party's invitation letter, took out a special device to scan the code, and could tell whether it was real or fake with just one scan. Reality is not like a skit. In a skit, the villain would often make a fake invitation letter to slap the protagonist in the face. This kind of thing is impossible in reality. Just scan the QR code and you can tell whether it is real or fake at a glance. Jifan really couldn't understand why he heard such a disgusting sound in such a high-end dinner party. Tonight was already annoying. Har ha har ha, it really is you, Jifan. Working part-time as a security guard here. See? This is the difference between you and me. One is in heaven and the other is in hell. Jifan glanced at Zhao Feifei, who was posing coquettishly, and turned his gaze to Qin Hao, who was sweating profusely beside him. Hello, please show me your invitation. Jifan held out his hand expressionlessly. Zhao Feifei was very unhappy that she didn't see Jifan's frustrated expression. So she twisted her butt and walked in front of Jifan, and lifted her hair coquettishly. Jifan, brother Hao has hooked up with the Xia family. Do you know what this means? Xia Group is one of the top wealthy families in Jianghai. With the help of Xia family, it will be a meteoric rise in no time. When I become the boss, you will still be this lowly security guard. Qin Hao took a deep breath. He knew that something bad would happen if he agreed to bring this woman with him. When I went out today, I felt my right eyelid twitching. Now, this is my retribution. I say again, show me your invitation or get out. Faced with Zhao Feifei's provocation, Jifan only regarded her as a jumping clown. Everyone who came today is well known or influential, but Zhao Feifei looked so arrogant that she doesn't look like someone from that circle at all. Many people looked disdainful. If this wasn't a Xia family banquet, someone would have started scolding them. An invitation? You think I don't have one? Brother Hao tilder. A disgusting tremor. Fortunately, Jifan didn't eat much tonight. Qin Hao didn't want to get closer and pretended not to know the woman, but after she shouted at him, he had to go up even if he didn't want to. After taking Qin Hao's invitation letter, Jifan returned it to him after scanning the code, and then looked at Zhao Feifei. His is fine, what about yours? Zhao Feifei was stunned. Isn't it enough if Qin Hao has it? I attended as his female companion, that's how it's played out on TV. No. Go, 2 people, and ask this lady to leave. Jifan deliberately emphasized the accent on the word miss. The 2 security guards behind him immediately stood up, one on each side, carried Zhao Feifei and walked out. Jifan, what are you doing? I'm Brother Hao's female companion, why are you chasing me away? Jifan, you are seeking revenge for your personal gain. Do you believe me when I file a complaint? Brother Hao, save me. But the 2 security guards didn't listen to her at all. They said the captain had given the order and told them to just carry the body away. The captain would naturally take responsibility if anything happened. Anyway, the boss said that tonight's banquet is very important, and the security team leader was arranged by President Xia himself, so we just have to do whatever he says. Is this your female companion? After Zhao Feifei was thrown out, Jifan looked at Qin Hao and asked. Qin Hao quickly shook his head to distance himself from Zhao Feifei, and at the same time looked at the people around him who were just watching the show. No, I don't know her. After hearing Qin Hao's answer, Jifan nodded with satisfaction. Are you kidding? Not to mention that this banquet did not stipulate that 2 people could enter with one invitation, even if it stipulated that female companions could be brought in, Jifan would not let her in. No matter how high your status is, you dare to come to the Xia family's banquet. I can only be a security guard at the door. Chapter 17. He deserves to be rejected. It was just a small episode. The people around me were all experienced and naturally wouldn't be affected by such a small matter. But what Jifan didn't expect was that as soon as the matter was over, 2 beautiful women came up to him and asked for his contact information. As expected, gold will shine wherever it is. Even wearing a security uniform, it still cannot conceal his handsomeness. Just as Ji-fan was thinking about what reason he could use to reject these two enthusiastic older sisters, two coughs were heard nearby. "Hello, President Xia. Boss Xia is here. I haven't seen you for a while. Ms. Xia has become even more beautiful and charming." Xia Lingwei's sudden appearance immediately caused some commotion at the door, but Xia Lingwei's eyes were not on them at all. She was only looking at the two women beside Ji-fan. After a pause, Xia Lingwei spoke. "The party is about to start. What are you doing here? It's my Xia family's party, and you guys don't bother to go in." At this time, most of the old hands had already gone in, and those who were watching the fun outside were the younger generations of each family. They didn't dare to say much to Xia Lingwei, and hurried inside one by one. Different from Xia Lingwei's cold and frosty face, Sujiro had a smile on her face and looked at Ji-fan with interest. "This boy is really handsome. If he wasn't my best friend's brother, I would have gone up to ask for his contact information." After everyone went in, Xia Lingwei looked at Ji-fan. Ji-fan spread his hands with an innocent look on his face. After Xia Lingwei went in, there was nothing happening at the door. Ji-fan left two people to guard the door while he slipped into the banquet hall. As soon as Ji-fan came in, he was hugged by someone. Hey, what's this?" Ji-fan quickly slapped Pei Xiaohua's dog paw away and looked at him warily. Two men were pulling each other in public. If this was spread out as gossip tomorrow, their reputations would be ruined. "Why are you so excited? Look to the right." Ji-fan looked in the direction of Pei Xiaohua's finger, and in the corner of the banquet hall, a large bunch of roses was quietly waiting for the arrival of romance. "Wow, what's going on? Someone is going to confess their love at the Xia family's banquet. Could it be that they are confessing their love to Xia Lingwei?" As expected of a novelist, his mind works quickly and he got close to the truth in no time. "My brother. Big Dog Pei. There are two brothers in the Pei family. Pei Xiaohua is the youngest son, and he has an older brother, Pei Yuezer. Unlike Pei Xiaohua, Pei Yuezer has been a smart kid since he was young. Not only is he well-rounded in moral, intellectual, physical, aesthetic and labor aspects, he is also better at picking up girls than his peers. When he was in 6th grade, he hired someone to kidnap his deskmate in an alley, and then he came to the rescue. If people hadn't been suspicious about how a 10-year-old boy could have taken down 4 or 5 adult thugs by himself, the girl might have been so moved that she would have given herself to him. After Pei Yuezer graduated from university, he successfully joined the Pei family and started from the bottom. It only took him 2 years to successfully gain everyone's recognition and become the president of Pei Group. There have been rumors that Pei Yuezer and his sister are having an affair. Could it be true? The family backgrounds of these two people are almost the same. The Pei Group is also a well-known leading enterprise in Jianghai. The Xia family and the Pei family have been close friends for many years. If it is Pei Yuezer, then it is not impossible. Let me tell you, I just found out about this gossip, too. Pei Xiaohua glanced around furtively, and after making sure that no one was paying attention, he spoke. My brother and your sister have been in private contact for almost 2 years, but your sister has always been lukewarm, neither accepting nor rejecting. This is in line with Xia Lingwei. A woman like her who looks frigid probably can't feel love. Finding someone who is of equal status and not annoying is probably her final destination. You know, my brother is the type who will stick his cheek to the other. He is shameless and thick-skinned. After almost 2 years of his relentless pursuit, the two finally made some progress. Ji-fan's eyes lit up. Any progress? Your sister finally agreed to have dinner with my brother, alone. Speaking of bootlickers, Pei Yuezer has to be the best. It's been 2 years, and he just had a meal alone with her. He deserves to be called Pei Big Dog in private. Confessing your feelings right after dinner? Your big dog is really brave. Ji-fan said with a sigh. Pei Xiaohua was very angry that Ji-fan always interrupted him. He could only look at Ji-fan seriously and said, "Listen to me, and then give your opinion after I finish." Ji-fan waved his hand, motioning him to continue. That meal didn't happen. Okay, you didn't even get to eat and you're coming straight to force me to abdicate, right? We had originally planned to meet last Sunday, but on Sunday morning, Xia Lingwei not only refused the date, but also returned all the small items my brother had given her over the past 2 years. And P.S. you are a good person, I treat you as my big brother. Ji-fan couldn't help but applaud, but Template refused. Did he never take Pei Yueza seriously? As expected of my elder sister, she is ruthless and decisive. Even after being rejected, your brother is still doing this. Isn't he afraid that my sister will embarrass him? Jifan was very curious about what Pei Degu was thinking. Was he rejected, so he confessed in public? This guy's thinking process may be a little different from that of ordinary people. How would I know? But I guess, with your sister's temper, he will definitely be slapped in the face today. Fortunately, he is thick-skinned. The two men were surprisingly in agreement on this point. Xie Lingwei would never pick up something she had rejected. I think that in order to take down your sister, you'd have to be tall, handsome, and extremely powerful. My sister is Taekwondo Black 8, and the only one who meets your requirements is Tiger. The two nodded in agreement. How could an ordinary person conquer a woman like Xie Lingwei? Her cold aura alone was enough to keep people away from her. Lingwei. At this moment, the lights in the entire banquet hall dimmed and two spotlights appeared, one shining on Xie Lingwei and the other on Pei Yueza. Everyone at the scene looked like they were watching a spectator as they watched this sudden scene. Xie Lingwei frowned slightly. She had the impression that there shouldn't be such a segment today. She looked at her best friend beside her in confusion, but Sujiro also looked confused. At this time, Pei Yueza was slowly walking towards Xie Lingwei, and moving with him was the cart full of red roses, a total of 999 roses. Lingwei, I have liked you for a long time. Can you be my girlfriend? Jifan and Pei Xiaohua couldn't help but cover their eyes with their hands. It would be strange if they were not rejected for being so old-fashioned. It's over, it's over. My sister frowned. He's dead. Jifan made a manual cross and observed 3 seconds of silence for Pei Degu. Chapter 18 Sister, don't take off my pants. The eldest son of the Pei family was rejected for his love, and it is rumored that the queen of business already has a boyfriend. Xie Lingwei, president of Xie Group, revealed that she is in a relationship, but the identity of her significant other remains a mystery. Who will win the prize of Jianghai Galing? Our reporters will continue to follow up. When Xie Lingwei said the 3 words, I refuse, the entire banquet hall breathed a sigh of relief. But after Xie Lingwei said the 5 words, I have a boyfriend, all their wine in the banquet hall was drunk that night. Their hotel temporarily added nearly 200,000 bottles of ordinary wine, which were eventually swept away. It is said that on that night, many young people who had suffered heartbreak cried loudly along the Jianghai River. But all this had nothing to do with Ji Fan. At this moment, he was sitting cautiously in the living room, feeling the solemn atmosphere. On his left was his sister, Xie Lingwei, the CEO, who looked stubborn at the moment. On Ji Fan's right were Xie Jian and Sun Huya, who were carrying the plane back to China overnight. My daughter is in love and she announced it so publicly. As parents, how can we feel at ease? We in the Xie family advocate free love, but no matter how free it is, you still have to tell me what the other person is like, right? If you are hiding it like this, could it be that you are not a person? Achoo! Jifan couldn't help but sneeze. He didn't know if someone was scolding him behind his back. Could it be that gold digger Zhao Feifei again? Sun Huya looked at her son with murderous intent in her eyes, and Jifan immediately covered his mouth. After being interrupted by Jifan, Xie Jian did not ask any more questions. Give me half a month to meet that guy. After saying this last sentence, Xie Jian sighed and stood up. His daughter was grown up and he could no longer take care of her. I still remember that when she was a junior in college, she had a relationship with a messy guy online. Later, he said he had died of cancer. It took Xie Lingwei half a year to get over it. I thought my daughter would grow up emotionally after this incident, but unexpectedly, she is still as love-brained as ever. They say a daughter takes after her father, and it seems she does take after me. Xie Jian went back to her room. Looking at her mother's gaze, Jifan didn't dare to stay any longer and hurried back to her room. Only 2 women were left in the living room chatting. Today is Wednesday. Jifan was supposed to be at school, but he was called back by his mother. Now it seems that this matter has nothing to do with him at all, so why did she ask him to come back? Turning on the computer, Jifan took a break from his busy schedule to start writing. He is an author with integrity and can have a bad ending, but he will not update it in a bad way. I don't know how much time had passed before my cell phone beeped. It was a message from my beautiful sister. Baby, let's find a time to meet. My family wants to meet you too. The moment he saw the message, Jifan's hands shook and he almost dropped his phone on the ground. Although their relationship had been rising like a rocket in the past 10 days or so, the 3 words, "meet the parents," were still very unfamiliar to Jifan. Seeing that Jifan didn't respond for a long time, the other party sent another message. "Baby, did I scare you? If you don't want to, we won't meet your parents. It doesn't matter, as long as you are happy. But I really want to see you, baby." Jifan took a deep breath. They definitely have to meet in person. Jifan also wants to know what his online love partner is like. He can't be in an online relationship for the rest of his life. "Sister, my summer vacation will start in 2 weeks. Let's meet then. Exam week is coming soon, and Jifan definitely cannot go to meet her at this time, so as not to affect his studies. After the exams are over, no matter what the outcome of the meeting is, I will have plenty of time to digest it." After getting Jifan's affirmative answer, the beautiful sister was obviously very happy, and the two of them were sweetly affectionate for a while before putting down their phones. "I was in a hurry when I entered the room just now and forgot to bring the cup of water." After such a long time, Jifan felt a little thirsty. "I glanced at the time. 2 hours had passed since I returned to my room. My mother and sister should have finished their conversation, right?" After thinking about it, Jifan quietly opened the door a crack, then listened carefully, but did not hear any sound. Jifan felt relieved and walked out on tiptoe. The lights in the living room on the first floor had been turned off. It seemed that everyone had gone back to their rooms to sleep. Jifan became bolder and quickly ran towards the stairs. As soon as he went down the stairs, Jifan bumped into a soft body. The next second, Jifan was caught by the opponent, and then he was thrown over the shoulder beautifully. The posture was so standard that even Jifan couldn't help but praise it, except that his butt was a little painful. Jifan raised his head and saw a glowing mobile phone not far away with a penguin dialogue box displayed on it. But when he wanted to take a closer look, the phone was picked up at the speed of light and the screen was turned off. "Sister, you didn't turn on the light at night, you are trying to murder me." The reputation of Taekwondo's Black 8 is well deserved. No one knows who the man who conquered Xia Lingwei is. Jifan really wants to meet him and see if it is Tiger. The lights in the living room were turned back on, and Xia Lingwei reached out to help Jifan up. Under close contact, Jifan was forced to admire his sister's perfect profile, but he didn't know if it was his illusion. His sister, who was always cold and frosty, actually had a shy blush on her face. "Considering what my sister did with her phone just now, it seems like she was chatting with her brother-in-law whom she has never met. My future brother-in-law is indeed capable, as he can turn a business queen into a shy little woman. Lie down, I'll apply medicine on you." The cold voice interrupted Jifan's thoughts. Sure enough, tenderness was only given to one person, and the rest were indifference. Jifan nodded slightly and sat obediently on the sofa waiting. "I fell really hard just now. If I didn't like playing basketball and had a strong physique, I might have been in the hospital now." The injury was at the part of the waist connecting to the buttocks. Jifan couldn't apply medicine himself, so he had to ask Xia Lingwei to do it. "It's just that this part is a bit illegal." Jifan was still hesitating when Xia Lingwei's voice rang out again. "Lift up your clothes, you grown man, why are you being so timid? I'm your sister." Jifan closed his eyes, made up his mind, lifted up his entire shirt, and then lay there motionless like a dead body. After applying the cooling ointment, the pain was slightly relieved. But immediately, a pair of soft and boneless hands pressed up. It hurts." Before Jifan could resist, Xia Lingwei slapped him again on the injured area. "Don't move. Stay still. I'm applying the medicine. If you don't apply pressure, it will all be swollen tomorrow." Xia Lingwei was right, but it did hurt. "Sister, what are you doing? Don't pull my pants off." Chapter 19. Sister is still the best. Under Jifan's insistence, Xia Lingwei finally did not rub the medicine on his butt. With Xia Lingwei's help, Jifan returned to the room, but he probably would only be able to sleep on his stomach tonight. "Should I ask for a leave?" Seeing Jifan's grinning face, Xia Lingwei asked. Jifan shook his head. "It's okay. It's exam week soon. I don't have many classes. I just need to be careful. The holiday is just over a week away, so there is no need for Jifan to take leave at this time." Xia Lingwei nodded, but still said worriedly, call me as soon as anything happens at school. Watching Xie Lingwei leave the room, Jifan felt warm in his heart. It seemed that his sister was not so cold-blooded and heartless. In fact, she still cared about him very much. The next day, Xie Lingwei originally wanted to send Jifan off, but was rejected by Jifan. With Pei Xiaohu around, there was no need to trouble Xie Lingwei. As he was speaking, Pei Xiaohua's car had already arrived at the door of Xie's house. "Sister, I'm going to school." Although he still felt some pain, it did not prevent him from moving around normally, and he would be fine as long as he was not touched or did any strenuous exercise. Xie Lingwei nodded and watched Jifan get into the car before getting into her own Maybach. "Brother Fan, what's wrong with you?" As brothers who had grown up together, Pei Xiaohua noticed at a glance that something was wrong with Jifan and asked. "Don't mention it. I verified something last night. My sister is really the black 8 in Taekwondo. She is the black 8 without any water." Waving his hand, Jifan continued to ask. "By the way, how has your brother been these past 2 days? Being rejected on the spot must have been a big blow to him, right? Didn't he do anything extreme? After pursuing someone for 2 years, he was snatched away by someone else. This feeling is not much better than Jifan's. And at least he understood why the other party cheated. As for Pei Yuezer, he had no idea why he was eliminated. They had made an appointment to have a romantic candlelight dinner together a few days ago. Don't worry, my brother is a licker, not a fool. That's true. Reality is not a TV series. There aren't so many things that happen just for love. Besides, given Xie Lingwei's cold personality, those who like her either like her face and figure, or like her group. This kind of liking is usually very rational. But I'm also very curious, which man could actually conquer your sister? Uncle Xie came back yesterday, but didn't he get anything out of him? Jifan shook his head. No matter who comes, Xie Lingwei can't stop talking about what she doesn't want to say. If you ask me, your sister is just fooling people, just to give my brother a way out and not be so blunt in her rejection. Otherwise, why has it been 3 days and there are so many reporters in Jianghai and they haven't found anything? This is obviously abnormal. To be honest, if Jifan hadn't caught a glimpse of Xie Lingwei's chat box on her phone last night, he would have believed Pei Xiaohua's statement. But now, Jifan is very sure that Xie Lingwei must be in love. But he has no way of knowing whether his love object is a man or a woman, a human or a ghost. Don't bother me during this time. It's exam week. I need to sharpen my skills. After arriving at school, Jifan went straight to the dormitory. There were almost no classes for the next week or so. The main reason why he didn't want to stay at home was that he was afraid of disturbing Uncle Xie and his mother's relationship. But now there is another reason: the atmosphere at home is too solemn, which is not conducive to the growth of a young boy like me. Soon, it was Friday. Jifan had a very comfortable time these 2 days. There is no damn early morning wake-up call and no interruption from Zhao Feifei. I spend 2 hours every day typing like a slave, 4 hours reviewing for exams, 8 hours watching TV series and reading novels, and 20 hours on standby to cultivate feelings with a beautiful sister. My life is so fulfilling. Sister, I have to review at the library this weekend, so I won't be working part-time. Mom, I'm going to the library to review on the weekend, so I won't be home. The 2 messages were sent to their respective owners, and a smile appeared on Jifan's face. There are not many people in the library on weekends. As the end of the semester approaches, everyone becomes more relaxed. Although they are still in school, their hearts have already flown away. School library. Jifan was flipping through the book in distress. This teacher was really something. He knew that many people relied on marking key points to pass the exam, but his marking was the same as not marking anything at all. There was no specificity at all. Anyway, the teacher marked the key points of 2 whole classes, and Jifan summarized it in 2 sentences, saying that this would be tested and that would be tested as well. Classmate, can I sit across from you? A sweet voice interrupted Jifan's distress. According to incomplete statistics, university libraries are where many campus romances begin. Jifan has been in college for almost 3 years, and he can say without exaggeration that this is the first time he has encountered such a thing. Looking up, the face of first love unceremoniously squeezed into Jifan's sight, catching him off guard. Clean and pure facial features, coupled with long black hair casually draped over the shoulders, would make anyone who sees her confused. Jifan turned his head to look at the empty library, then pointed at himself hesitantly. "Yeah, can I sit across from you?" The girl looks pure and sweet. When she smiles, she has two cute dimples that make people want to poke them with their fingers. Jifan nodded. It's not that he has no resistance to beautiful women, but if there is such a lovely beauty sitting opposite him while studying, he will definitely get twice the result with half the effort. "Thank you." The girl sat down opposite Jifan, holding a book. Her big, expressive eyes kept looking at Jifan, making him feel a little uncomfortable. Hello, schoolgirl, I have a girlfriend." God knows why Jifan said such a thing. At this moment, he wished he could dig into a sea view villa. "Senior, I just saw that you were the only one in the entire library, so I wanted to study with you. But congratulations, Senior. Your girlfriend must be very happy and feel secure." The girl still had a smile on her face and even explained something to Jifan. She suddenly felt that the senior in front of her was very cute, so she stretched out her fair and tender hand. "Hello, Senior. My name is Wang Yunshu. I am a freshman this year. Please give me your guidance." Jifan was stunned for a moment before he reached out and shook the other person's hand. "Jifan, Junior, nice to meet you. How happy." Looking at the innocent face of the schoolgirl opposite him, Jifan suddenly missed the beautiful sister. "My elder sister is still the best. She never asks questions that would embarrass her, even though this junior probably didn't mean it." Chapter 20. High-level hunters often appear as prey. Faced with such a pure and innocent schoolgirl, Jifan could only respond with an awkward smile, then quickly lowered his head and pretended to be reviewing seriously. "Senior, you hold the book upside down." The schoolgirl's ruthless revelation almost made Jifan run away in embarrassment, but he finally forced himself to put the book straight. However, after saying this, the junior girl didn't say anything more, and the two of them studied quietly for the whole morning. What woke Jifan up was not Wang Yunshu, but the notification sound of his cell phone. It was at this moment that Jifan realized that it was already 12 o'clock. "Baby, are you done with your work?" Jifan did not tell the beautiful sister that he did not have a part-time job this week, so he could take this opportunity to review well. It just happened to end. "The boss is in a good mood this week and the work he arranged for me is very easy." The two of them exchanged a few more words before Jifan put away his phone. As soon as he looked up, Jifan saw Wang Yunshu's beautiful eyes, as dazzling as stars and fascinating. At this moment, she was staring at Jifan, blankly, yet somewhat adorable and cute. "Senior, would you like to have lunch together?" Jifan suddenly realized that the girl had always been the one taking the initiative since their first meeting. But he still shook his head and said, "No, I have a girlfriend." This time, Jifan spoke more firmly. "He's just a straight guy, not a stupid guy." No matter what Wang Yunshu is thinking, Jifan should uphold the ethics of a man. Since you already have a beautiful sister, other opposite sex should consciously stay away from her and it is best not to do anything that may cause misunderstanding. "Okay, I hope I can study with you next time." A trace of disappointment flashed across Wang Yunshu's eyes, but it was immediately replaced by a smile. Jifan nodded. Although they didn't have lunch together, they still went to the library together. As soon as he went out, Jifan met Pei Xiaohua. As expected, Pei Xiaohua should have just woken up. He knew that Jifan must be reviewing in the library, so he waited for him downstairs. But when he saw Wang Yunshu appearing with Jifan, he was completely stunned, and his eyes wished they could grow on Wang Yunshu. When did Jianghai have such a cute junior schoolmate? Pei Xiaohua, a beautiful classmate, all knew that the senior students had already graduated, so this one must be a junior student. Jiang University is famous for producing beautiful women, but the one in front of me can no longer be described with just the word beauty. Just with this first love face, I wonder if it will be the white moonlight in the hearts of many people, and it will be the love that many people could not get in their youth. After seeing her, the men in novels who abandoned their wives and children for their beloved Bai Yueguang didn't seem so incomprehensible anymore. Of course, this is not illegal, but it is not encouraged. "Brother Fan, who is this?" Pei Xiaohua rushed forward and went straight to the point. "Hello, Senior. My name is Wang Yunshu." Wang Yunshu's initiative made Jifan feel relieved. It seemed that this was a generous girl and she didn't treat him specially. He probably thought too much before. Pei Xiaohua, Jifan's best friend. Schoolmate, you haven't eaten yet. How about I treat you today and we can eat together? Jifan had just rejected someone, but Pei Xiaohua turned around and invited him back, which made Jifan a little embarrassed. Today is not very convenient. I have something else to do. Let's do it another day. While speaking, Wang Yinshu's eyes were always on Jifan, and she winked at him playfully. Jifan didn't know whether this schoolgirl was straightforward or considerate. The two of them were like two different people when they were together before. However, Jifan did not delve into it further. Since the other party had tactfully refused, it was exactly what he wanted. How about adding your contact information? We can make an appointment again in the future if there is a chance. Pei Xiaohua would definitely not miss the opportunity when he saw such an excellent schoolmate, and immediately followed what the other party said. The junior schoolmate was a little hesitant. How about this, Jifan and I will both add you, then you won't be afraid that the senior is a bad guy, right? The schoolgirl's eyes lit up and she nodded slightly. Being framed by his own brother, Jifan couldn't refuse. After adding their contact information, Wang Yinshu waved goodbye to the two of them. Old Ji, based on my many years of experience, I bet this schoolgirl is definitely interested in you. Jifan shook his head. I'm just a bootlicker in Jiangda, so it shouldn't be that serious. It's just a coincidence that we happened to review together today. Pei Xiaohua shook his head faster than Jifan. Believe me, high-end hunters often appear as prey. But I guess you didn't take the bait, so she chose to be semi-active. Jifan ignored him and walked towards the school gate. Honestly, I haven't even seen the photo of your online love sister yet. What if she's extremely ugly in person, and that's why she's been waiting for you for 3 years? Why don't you consider this schoolgirl? She's pure and innocent, like a perfect white moonlight. It would be a pity to miss her. Jifan stopped and looked at Pei Xiaohua seriously. After seeing Pei Xiaohua feel guilty, he said, I have a girlfriend now, don't lead me astray. The beautiful sister has been waiting for him for 3.5 years, and Jifan certainly cannot let her down easily. What's more, the two of them are in a passionate relationship now, so how can we make groundless speculations? Okay, if you don't want me to do it. Now I'm really curious about what your online sister looks like. Not only Pei Xiaohua was curious, but Jifan was also curious. It's not like he hasn't thought about exchanging photos with the other party. But then he thought, the other party has been waiting for him for more than 3 years. If he rashly asked for the photo, wouldn't it prove that he is a very superficial person? If I am not satisfied with the photos, will it end in vain? Jifan felt that since the other party had waited for him for so many years, even if it didn't work out in the end, he still had to meet her, so as to put a perfect end to their young love. Since we have to meet each other anyway, we might as well wait until we meet to open the blind box. There is a food street outside the north gate of Jiangnan University. The prices are reasonable and the portions are large, making it a favorite of Jiangnan University students. When Jifan doesn't want to eat in the cafeteria on weekdays, he likes to have a delicious steamed meal here with Pei Xiaohua. You don't have to wait for steamed dishes, you can eat them as soon as they arrive, and the portion is small, so 2 people can eat 4 or 5 types of dishes. It is much more comfortable than stir-fried dishes, and it is also cheaper than stir-fried dishes. As soon as the two sat down, Pei Xiaohua suddenly pushed Jifan. Jifan looked in the direction of his finger and saw Yinshu. They met again. But the other party seemed not to see them and was just chatting happily with his friends beside him. Come to think of it, if it wasn't intentional, I have a connection with her. Chapter 21, Avilders need to be punished by Avilders. Study in the morning and watch TV series in the afternoon. Only by combining work and rest can you live a long life. Jifan has always believed in this truth, so he lay down in the dormitory after lunch. All the roommates are not at home, probably because they went out to play on the weekend, which makes it convenient for Jifan. He is a quiet person and being alone makes him feel very happy. Otherwise, he would not fall in love with such a boring and uninteresting job as writing novels. The quiet time at night is used for typing. I don't know why, but I'm always more inspired at night than during the day. The next morning, Jifan accidentally met Wang Yinshu in the library again. Just like yesterday, Wang Yinshu sat directly opposite Jifan without even asking him. Jifan also agreed directly, but raised his head when she sat down. The fulfilling weekend passed quickly, and the exciting exam week came. Jifan worked hard for a week and was not too worried. With his talent, even if his grades were not very high, he would have no problem passing. On the other hand, Pei Xiaohua, this kid doesn't work hard in normal times, and doesn't sharpen his skills before the exam. He just relies on his cheat sheets to get around. Whether he succeeds or not depends on whether the invigilator is lenient. Naturally, he is not as confident as Ji Fan. But no matter what, the exam week finally ended successfully. Whether or not I failed the exam was a matter for the future. There were 9 days of exams in total, and by the time I finished the last subject, it was already Tuesday of the new week. Group message. At everyone, to celebrate the successful completion of the exams, we are having a dinner at Dingxing tonight. I hope you will tell each other and don't be absent. At everyone, to celebrate the successful completion of the exams, we are having a dinner at Dingxing tonight. I hope you will tell each other and don't be absent. At everyone, to celebrate the successful completion of the exams, we are having a dinner at Dingxing tonight. I hope you will tell each other and don't be absent. 3 consecutive messages blinded Ji Fan's eyes. It's time to maintain the friendship with classmates once a semester. Seriously speaking, there were more than 50 people in the class, and at the end of the junior year, Ji Fan still couldn't remember the names of at least 30 of them. But the only person he was truly familiar with was still his best friend Pei Xiaohua. Ji Fan, we'll have dinner tonight, Dad will pick you up. As soon as the message popped up in the group, my big son came out obediently 3 seconds later. By the way, have you heard? Zhao Feifei has been looking for Qin Hao everywhere these past 2 days, and she even skipped 2 exams. But Qin Hao is a year older than us, and he has already graduated. What do you think Qin Hao did? Zhao Feifei couldn't even take care of her exams and was looking for him everywhere. Ji Fan was a little confused when he suddenly saw these 2 names. It took him a long time to remember that these were his materialistic ex-girlfriend and her pretentious current boyfriend. I have to say that Qin Hao is quite resourceful. After I expressed my feelings to him implicitly, Zhao Feifei never came to bother me again. Now it seems that Qin Hao should have stopped after graduation, and I don't know what excuse he used. But seeing how anxious Zhao Feifei was, it didn't seem like she was just angry about being cheated of her body. She must have been cheated of a lot of money, right? For people like Zhao Feifei, money is much more important than life. If you lose your innocence, you can get another one, but if you lose your money, it's really gone forever. I don't know. I haven't seen them for a long time. Ji Fan wished he could never see them again in his life. Anyway, Qin Hao's father has been fired by Xie Lingwei. If nothing unexpected happens, Jianghai is so big that it will be difficult for them to meet again. Is that so? Then I'll go ask around and find out what's going on between these 2 people. Ji Fan suddenly looked forward to the class reunion tonight. He admitted that he mainly wanted to see what Zhao Feifei looked like now. 6 o'clock. Pei Xiaohua appeared downstairs of Ji Fan's dormitory on time. Old Ji, I found out about it. It's really wonderful. As soon as he got in the car, Pei Xiaohua couldn't wait to share the gossip he had eaten with Ji Fan. Ji Fan didn't say anything, but the curiosity in his eyes proved everything. That Qin Hao is really a talented guy. I won't talk about the previous things, let's get straight to the point. A few nights ago, Qin Hao organized a group and brought Zhao Feifei along. Everyone drank a lot that night, except Zhao Feifei, who was a girl and was brought by Qin Hao, so she only drank 2 or 3 cups. Then here comes the point. On their way back, Qin Hao was drunk and unconscious. The place where he drank was very remote. There was not even a hotel nearby, and it was impossible to get a taxi. Zhao Feifei had to drive Qin Hao's car back by herself. And then we hit a Bentley on the way. It was clearly the other party who hit her, but because she was drunk, Zhao Feifei didn't dare to call the police. She could only settle the matter privately, paying 88,000 yuan for the minor scratches. I thought Qin Hao would give me the money when he woke up the next day, but when I woke up the next day, Qin Hao was gone. By the way, that Bentley is fake. It just has a Bentley logo. Women only recognize car logos, and it's night time. Needless to say, Ji Fan also knew what happened next. Zhao Feifei couldn't contact Qin Hao, and then she found out that she had been cheated that night. Only then did she come to her senses and wanted to settle the score with Qin Hao. She is quite rich, so she gave me 88,000 yuan just like that. Ji Fan was quite surprised by this. Don't mention it. She even brought a POS machine in the middle of the night. She swiped her credit card for 30,000 yuan. 88,000 is exactly her limit. Tell me if this is a trap set by Qin Hao. It's all such a coincidence. He just happened to ask her for 88,000 yuan and happened to bring a POS machine with him, and then Qin Hao disappeared the next day. As expected, Avilders will be punished by Avilders. Isn't she a materialist? Now that she has suffered a great loss, her heart must be bleeding, right? The two were chatting when the car stopped in front of Dingxing restaurant. The 5 tables on the first floor were reserved by the class monitor, and most of the classmates had arrived, but Jifan did not see the person he wanted to see. Zhao Feifei didn't come, but her 2 lackeys Lin Yuwei and Xiao Yaxia came. When they saw Jifan and Pei Xiaohua coming in, they secretly lowered their heads, not wanting to attract Jifan's attention. TSK, 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 you two do have some free time. Why don't you go help your master? Could it be that because she had no money, she abandoned her master? In front of the whole class, every time Jifan said another word, Lin Yuwei and Xiao Yaxia's faces became uglier. The students next to her were also talking about it. Some of those who didn't know what was going on were immediately explained. Soon, the whole class knew what was going on with Zhao Feifei. There is nothing to discuss. She lost more than she gained. We can only say that she deserved it. As for Lin Yuwei and Xiao Yaxia, they had no intention of continuing to sit here and eat. They glared at Jifan fiercely, and then the two of them fled. Chapter 22 Baidu, the Savior of Straight Men. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Jifan finished the dinner and went home. Today was such a great day that Jifan, who usually doesn't like drinking, couldn't help but drink a few more glasses. During this period, my mother and Uncle Xie were at home and did not go anywhere. Seeing Jifan coming home, Sun Huiya asked. Jifan nodded. Now that you're done with the exams, pack up and get ready to report to the group. I heard from Ling Wei that she plans to let you study in the legal department. Jifan took a deep look at the woman in front of him. If it weren't for more than 20 years of life telling him that the woman in front of him was his biological mother, Jifan would have suspected that he was picked up from the trash can. They say it so righteously, as if it's all for their own good, but in fact, aren't they just afraid that I'll have nothing to do at home during the holidays and disturb their world of two? Don't think you don't understand your mother's little thoughts. We have been together day and night for more than 20 years, how could we not understand each other? After saying this, Sun Huiya went back to her room without waiting for her son's consent. This was a notification, not a discussion. Jifan has long known that he is a miserable child, so he has long been used to it. But it doesn't matter, I still have a beautiful sister. Just as he was about to go back to his room, Jifan looked up and saw Xia Lingwei, who had just returned. Good evening, sister. Good evening, brother. When nothing is going on, the relationship between the two is just so polite and perfunctory. The boundless horizon is my love. The sudden ringing of the phone was a bit harsh in the quiet environment. Jifan looked at Xia Lingwei embarrassedly before answering the call. Old G, talk to your sister and ask her to let me intern at Xia Group as well. Pei Xiaohua's loud voice came from the phone, causing Xia Lingwei to stop. Jifan regretted answering the call. The Pei family is bankrupt. Why are you doing an internship with my sister? No, I can't go to Pei Group. My brother has become abnormal since his confession failed. I heard that he has changed 3 assistants. I will definitely be tortured to death if I go there. Jifan really wanted to ask, does Pei Yuezher know that he is his own brother? Pei Yuezher's ability to bear is not that bad, and Xia Group will not accept you. Don't lead Jifan astray. Xia Lingwei's voice sounded beside Jifan and was clearly transmitted to Pei Xiaohua's ears through the mobile phone. Xia Lingwei spoke up, and this matter was doomed to be hopeless. Our sister Xia is here too. I was just joking. I have something else to do, so I'll hang up first. Hearing Xia Lingwei's voice, Pei Xiaohua logged off at lightning speed. Stop fooling around with Pei Xiaohua. By the way, you should rest at home for a while. Tell Sujiro about your internship when you have time. She will arrange it for you. Jifan nodded silently. However, before going to the company for internship, he still has a very important thing to do, which is offline interview. Today is Tuesday, and my beautiful sister should still be at work, so let us meet on Saturday. I still have a few days to prepare. Sister, let's meet this Saturday. When this message was sent, Jifan felt inexplicably nervous. Speaking of which, I have known this beautiful sister for 5 years. Although there was a gap of more than 3 years in between, this did not hinder our relationship. A woman has been waiting for you for 3 years, which man can resist? What's more, she is a woman with whom he already has a relationship. Really, baby? Then I need to prepare myself. Just 3 seconds after the message was sent, the other party replied immediately. It seemed that he had been waiting for a long time. The message from the beautiful sister also reminded Ji-fan that he should not be too hasty in meeting someone and he should prepare well. Before this, Ji-fan had been in a relationship for 2 years, but that relationship was a little abnormal. Looking back now, it seemed that there was no other connection between him and Zhao Feifei except money. Every sweet moment was a premeditated demand by Zhao Feifei, and she was deeply immersed in it and laughed foolishly. In fact, in the eyes of others, she was just a plaything. Question: what gift should I give to a girl when meeting her for the first time? Baidu. 1. Handmade woven lily of the valley lampshade. 2. Plush toys. 3. Chocolate. For the first time, Ji-fan felt that Baidu was so unreliable. And this first gift, the more I look at it, the more it looks like an advertisement. Who would be so nice to give this thing to someone when they meet for the first time? It's not only impractical but also troublesome. I'll pass and read on. When a boy meets a girl for the first time, he must bring a bunch of beautiful flowers to show his romantic feelings. Remember. Open the phone memo and type flowers. It can be said that Baidu is still useful. It is simply the savior for straight men to pick up girls. Although it is not original, it can at least guarantee that there will be no mistakes. But just a bouquet of flowers is definitely not enough. Ji-fan thinks he should bring some other small gifts. I usually chat with the beautiful sister a lot, but Ji-fan suddenly discovered that it was basically the sister who got to know him, while he rarely took the initiative to get to know her. After looking through the chat records for a long time, Ji-fan couldn't find out what his sister liked, which made him a little embarrassed. You won't know until you review it. Once you review it, you will find that the words are full of the beautiful sister's care and love for you. With this comparison, it seems that his sister really loves him terribly. This makes Ji-fan even more determined to choose a good gift for the meeting so that his beautiful sister can also feel his love. Fortunately, in addition to Baidu, Ji-fan also has a powerful weapon. Unfilial son, I'm going to meet a beautiful sister offline this weekend. Quickly pass on your knowledge of picking up girls to me. I want to choose a gift for her. Pei Xiaohua replied very quickly, and the 3 big exclamation marks showed his rich inner world at that moment. Are we really going to meet? Can you take me with you? If you don't take me with you, you must take a picture and show it to me. I really want to know what kind of woman she is. She could wait for you for 3.5 years and make you fall in love with her so deeply in such a short time. Compared to Pei Xiaohua, Ji-fan was actually more nervous. Opening a blind box is a very exciting thing in itself, and when this blind box is related to your happiness in the next life, this excitement is infinitely magnified. It's like a shocking gamble. If you win the bet, you will have happiness in your next life. He lost the bet, and Ji-fan didn't know what to do. Stop talking nonsense and give me some advice quickly. You can't embarrass me. Ji-fan was very anxious, but Pei Xiaohua was neither anxious nor slow. I know you're anxious, but don't be anxious now. How about this? I'll think about it carefully tonight, and you should think about it carefully too. We'll meet tomorrow to review it and make a decision. Chapter 23: Putting the blame on someone. Wednesday, the first day of summer vacation. When Ji-fan woke up, his butt was already exposed to the sun. I fumbled for the phone on the bedside table. It was 9:40, so it was still early. Ji-fan had an appointment to go out with Pei Xiaohua to choose gifts today, but he guessed that Pei Xiaohua might not have gotten up yet, so he was not too anxious. It has been confirmed that there will be a bouquet of flowers among the selected gifts, so Ji-fan is going to choose what to give first. The 999 red roses that Pei Yuezer gave at the last banquet were indeed beautiful and generous, but not to mention whether he could hold that thing by himself, he was also afraid of scaring the beautiful sister. It's better not to be too exaggerated when meeting someone for the first time. Moreover, I told her that I was working part-time every weekend. These 999 red roses must cost at least several thousand yuan, which is a bit exaggerated. 99 flowers should be just right. It's not tiring to hold them in your hands, and the price is reasonable. In addition to roses, Jifan also plans to give some small accessories. The only woman of the same age that Jifan had more contact with in his life was Zhao Feifei. Jifan had given Zhao Feifei many small gifts. As both were women, they must be in agreement in some aspects. Jifan had already returned the necklace he bought last time, and he was going to buy a new one. I want something that is low-key, luxurious and good-looking, and it would be best if you can't tell the price, so that my sister won't feel burdened when she keeps it. Brother Fan, I'm awake, come down quickly. When Jifan was carefully selecting, Pei Xiaohua's message finally came. They are indeed brothers who grew up together. Only Jifan can make Pei Xiaohua get up earlier than 12 o'clock on holidays. He got up quickly, got dressed, washed up and went to the bathroom. 5 minutes later, Jifan appeared in the living room. Mom, I'm going out and won't be back for dinner. Sun Huiya didn't even look at Jifan twice. It would be better if he didn't come back, so that he wouldn't be a light bulb at home every day. Jifan also knew his mother's character, so after he finished speaking, he walked out of the door without caring whether there was a response or not. At the door, Pei Xiaohua was already waiting. Brother Fan, I thought about it carefully last night. Women like nothing more than bags, jewelry and flowers. Giving these is definitely the right thing to do. Yeah. Jifan hesitated for a moment and then continued. I think Xia Lingwei doesn't like it. It was unknown whether Xia Lingwei liked Jifan or not, but Jifan knew that Jianghai's famous high-end luxury stores such as jewelry, bags, and clothing would send a lot of the latest products of the season every quarter. Anyway, Xia Lingwei would just take a look and leave the room without showing any interest. My dear brother, do you want to listen to what you are saying? Who is Xia Lingwei? How many women can compare with Xia Lingwei? That frost which has long since left the category of woman, okay. Thinking about it this way, what Pei Xiaohua said seemed to make some sense. I just happened to be planning to buy a necklace for my beautiful sister. Let's go and drive to the commercial street. Since you want to buy a necklace, you can go directly to the jewelry store under the Xia group. This way, you can keep the money within the family. 20 minutes later, Pei Xiaohua's car stopped in front of the jewelry store. As soon as Jifan entered the door, he was stunned. He saw an acquaintance he hadn't seen for many days, Zhao Feifei. Today's Zhao Feifei has changed tremendously from the Zhao Feifei we remember. Although Zhao Feifei is materialistic, it has to be said that this woman is quite good-looking. Her curvy figure and internet celebrity face make her worthy of the word pleasing to the eye. Otherwise, Jifan would not have fallen in love with her at the beginning. Why don't you go in? Pei Xiaohua was walking behind Jifan and asked curiously when he saw him suddenly stop. But Pei Xiaohua immediately saw the situation inside the store clearly. Zhao Feifei, dressed as a shop assistant, was standing there awkwardly. Oh my, isn't this our Miss Zhao? Aren't you going to marry into a wealthy family? Didn't you say that your status is very different from our Jifan's? Why are you doing sales? Zhao Feifei was tricked by Qin Hao. Not only did she spend all her money, but she also owed 30,000 yuan on her credit card. Zhao Feifei's family was not well off, and she did not dare to ask her parents for the 30,000 yuan, so she had to find a way on her own. But as the saying goes, good news doesn't travel far, but bad news travels far and wide. But within a day or two, the whole school knew about his scandal. He failed to gain his money and ended up being cheated. Those little sisters who used to hold me in high esteem disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye, and I couldn't even find them when I wanted to borrow some money. With no other options, Zhao Feifei could only come here to work during the summer vacation. The jewelry store under the Xia group is famous throughout Jianghai. This kind of high-end luxury goods can bring a considerable commission for each sale, so it is naturally the best choice for Zhao Feifei. She has a good appearance and is open-minded. If she works hard and has a little more luck, she can easily pay off her debt in a month. Moreover, it is easy to meet rich young men in such places. If she can find one, then her dream of marrying into a wealthy family can continue. Today is Zhao Feifei's first day at work. At the end of the morning, 2 or 3 groups of customers came in, but none of them bought anything, which made her a little restless. It just so happened that another clerk standing in front went to the bathroom, leaving her alone there, and she ran into Jifan. After being scolded by Pei Xiaohua, Zhao Feifei, who was already in a bad mood, was completely ignited. Jifan, what are you doing here? Do you want to laugh at me? I tell you, even if I'm a clerk here today, one day I will still be a VIP here. And you, for your entire life, can only be an ordinary person, destined to only look up to me. I don't know where Zhao Feifei gets such confidence from. If it is so easy to enter the upper class circle, then this circle needs to be renamed. It seems that this clerk didn't realize his identity clearly. Does the sheer group want everyone now? Jifan glanced at Zhao Feifei indifferently and became anxious. She was anxious. But she shouldn't be anxious yet, the time to be anxious has not come yet. Although Jifan doesn't care about her, he will not miss the opportunity to disgust her. I didn't expect that a country bumpkin like you would know that this is a jewelry store under the sheer group. How dare you come in? Get out of here right now. Don't let your poor air taint this place and disturb other customers. Jifan looked around the empty shop in an exaggerated manner, then looked at Zhao Feifei in confusion. Other customers? Are you blind? If you're blind, just go see a doctor. Why do you have to work part-time? Such a big commotion in front attracted the store manager out. The store manager is a woman in her 30s, intelligent and elegant. Seeing her appear, Zhao Feifei immediately turned the tables. Manager, this is the person who has been causing trouble here. He is my classmate. I know him. He works part-time every weekend to earn a living. Now he is trying to scam us. Tell the security guard to chase him away. Chapter 24, Singles Like You Don't Understand. Jifan had seen people putting the blame on others before, but he had never seen such a stupid one. Shouldn't she first ask herself what she is here for before slandering others? Sister Ju, is the store so short of staff now? Why are you hiring everyone? Don't let someone sneak in, or someone will steal from you. Although the store manager did not know Jifan's identity, this was more than once or twice the time Jifan had come here to work part-time, so she was very familiar with Jifan. The child works diligently, is willing to work hard no matter how much work is assigned to him, and has a good temper. How could he possibly come to the store to cause trouble? This woman, on the other hand, lacks the most basic qualities of the service industry. If such a person stays in the store, it will only ruin the store's reputation. She knows how to deal with it without even checking the surveillance camera. Don't slander me, okay? If you want to adjust the surveillance, then adjust the surveillance. Don't think you can say anything just because you know the store manager. I remember now, you distributed flyers here, right? You two are in the same group. Jifan was too lazy to listen to her nagging, and Sister Ju simply waved to the security guard to kick Zhao Feifei out. It's summer vacation now, and I want to hire some summer workers to save costs. It's inevitable that the quality will not keep up. This is inevitable. After all, not everyone can be as good as Xiaofan. We can only rely on luck. By the way, Xiaofan, why are you here today? I didn't hear that you wanted to come part-time. In the past, Jifan's part-time job here was arranged directly by the headquarters. At that time, she also thought that Jifan might be a young master from a family who was sent here for training, but how could training mean handing out flyers for 2 years? Later, she never speculated about it again. Perhaps, the kid just found an acquaintance to arrange a part-time job for him. I want to buy a necklace for my girlfriend, so I thought it would be a good idea to buy it here. This is my first time choosing, and I don't know much about this. How about Sister Ju recommends something to me? Jifan didn't lie. She was indeed his girlfriend, but he had never met her. It was indeed the first time I chose one. The last one I bought was one I liked when I was shopping with Zhao Feifei. It was not chosen by Jifan. Necklace? Sure. Sister Ju always speaks gently, with a smile as warm as spring breeze on her face and bright eyes sparkling with wisdom, which perfectly describes her as intellectual. Here are the new necklaces we specially launched during the summer vacation. The styles in this row are very good and suitable for young girls. The prices are around 10,000 yuan. From what Sister Ju knew about Jifan, he didn't seem to be a particularly wealthy man, but since he decided to buy from her store, he must know the prices there. Things that cost more than 10,000 yuan are already the cheapest in a place like this, and she used her privileges as the store manager to give Jifan the lowest price. Sister Ju, do you have a necklace that doesn't look particularly expensive but is very delicate? The first time Jifan met a beautiful sister, he didn't want the other party to dare to accept his gift. Things that cost more than 10,000 yuan are not called things on Douyin, but in reality, this is 2 months' salary for an ordinary person. Don't tell me, it really exists. Sister Ju smiled and skillfully took out a necklace from the counter. Look at this, a double-sided four-leaf clover necklace. The four-leaf clover is also called lucky grass, which symbolizes that meeting you is my luck. It is made with simple workmanship and is suitable for young women. Besides, there are a lot of them for tens or hundreds of dollars on Taobao, and most people can't tell the difference. A high-end luxury store is a high-end luxury store. The ones that look exactly the same on Taobao only cost a few dozen yuan, but here they cost tens of thousands. However, there are definitely differences in the material and workmanship of things. Jifan didn't understand, but it didn't matter, since it was his own shop anyway. Okay, this is it. Please pack it for me, Sister Ju. Jifan took out his bank card and had to thank Jianghai. If it weren't for the 300,000 yuan compensation from Jianghai, the necklace would have to be purchased with the black card given by his sister. That thing is the secondary card of my sister's black card. Once I take it out, I guess the store won't dare to accept money. Sister Ju knew that Jifan was going to give it to his girlfriend, so she specially prepared a very delicate package for him. It was pink in color, and it was obviously a style that girls would like. Thank you, Sister Ju. I'll leave first. The shopping process went smoothly, except that she met someone who discredited her eyes. But it was a good thing as it saved her a way of life. Jifan is not a saint. After being abandoned and cuckolded, he didn't bother with her because she was not worthy of him, but Jifan didn't mind stepping on her when the time came. Let's have lunch first, and then go to the flower shop to order a bouquet of flowers. Now that I have resolved this important matter today, I can rest easy for the next few days. As soon as I sat down in the restaurant, I received a message from the beautiful sister. Baby, are you going home for the holiday? Today is Wednesday, and the beautiful sister should have just got off work. Jifan looked at the clay pot rice that had just been served and quickly took a photo and sent it over. He accidentally saw it when he was searching for gifts on Baidu yesterday. The desire to share is the best way to express love. The clay pot rice looks delicious. I'll eat it in the company cafeteria. I'll bring you along to eat next time. Jifan thought to himself that it seemed that his beautiful sister's life was not as affluent as he had imagined, as she ate in the company cafeteria every day. Most company cafeterias are not very good. After all, not every company is Share S. After Xie Lingwei took over the Xie group, although the workload increased, the welfare benefits in all aspects also increased. Jifan went to the Xie group's cafeteria to eat once, and it was much better than the school cafeteria. Okay, then I'll wait for the baby to take me along. Sure enough, Baidu is the savior of straight men. Looking at the message sent by the beautiful sister, Jifan couldn't help but smile. Old Ji, what are you doing? Pei Xiaohua on the opposite side looked at Jifan in confusion. He was fine just now, why did he suddenly become like an idiot? Don't talk, just eat your food. Single guys like you don't understand. Office of the President of Xie Group. Sujiro was enjoying the special meal sent from the cafeteria. She turned around and saw Xie Lingwei, who looked like she was in love. She shook her head helplessly. My CEO sister, it's time to eat. I have a meeting later. Xie Lingwei reluctantly put down her phone. She wanted to take a photo of her baby while eating, but this scene and the lunchbox were too easy to expose. Xie Lingwei was afraid that her identity would scare her brother. Let's lay everything out with him when we meet in person. Sister President, don't think about it, just think about the meeting later. Sujiro couldn't bear to watch it any longer, so she ran over and supervised Xie Lingwei to eat. Don't talk, just eat your food. Single guys like you don't understand. Chapter 25 Different Jifan and Xie Lingwei. Saturday, 9 in the morning. Old Ji, I've brought the flowers and gifts and put them in the car. Are you sure you don't want to take me with you? On the phone, Pei Xiaohua was still begging desperately, trying to be the first to meet Jifan's online love sister. But Jifan's attitude was firm. Don't think about it. Just stay at home and wait for my news. Pei Xiaohua sighed helplessly. He had set for 5 alarms to get up so early, but Jifan refused to play with him at all. But as his best brother, Pei Xiaohua could only continue to give instructions. Have you memoized the dating process? We'll have lunch and a movie in the afternoon, and go shopping. I've already booked a candlelight dinner for you in the evening. Remember not to drink too much at night. Drinking in moderation can promote blood circulation. If you drink too much, your brothers won't be able to help you. Jifan frowned. Why did the last sentence sound weird? Okay, stop talking so much. Should I go or should you go? You seem to be more concerned about this than I am. Jifan was already very nervous, and after hearing what Pei Xiaohua said, he became even more nervous. Okay, you take control of it. I hope your online crush is a stunning beauty and you can get rid of your virgin status tonight. According to Pei Xiaohua's speculation, Jifan's online love sister has not only been waiting for him for so many years, but now her offensive is so fierce. Jifan is also handsome. As long as Jifan does not refuse tonight, this matter will probably be done. Jifan doesn't have the mood to think so much now. He has been fiddling in front of the mirror for more than 20 minutes. This may be the only time in his life that he cares so much about his appearance, just to make a good impression on the beautiful sister. For this purpose, he even put on the white shirt he bought 2 days ago, just to show himself more mature and to set off his sister's youthfulness. At 10 o'clock, Jifan finally opened the door of his room. He had made an appointment with the beautiful sister at 11 o'clock, and his home was only a 20-minute drive from the agreed location, which was enough time. When Jifan went downstairs, he met Xia Lingwei, which made him a little curious. I have been in the Xia family for 3 years, and this is the first time that Jifan has seen Xia Lingwei at home at 10 o'clock in the morning. Is there nothing happening at the company today? Although he was confused, Jifan did not ask. As the president of the Xia group, she can get up at 10 o'clock every day as long as she wants. However, given Xia Lingwei's personality of doing everything herself and striving for perfection, it would probably be difficult for her to let go. Moreover, Xia Lingwei today was obviously a little different from usual. No longer the timeless professional suit, Xia Lingwei was actually wearing a pink long skirt today. It is said that there is a little princess living in every woman's heart. Now it seems that even a strong woman like Xia Lingwei is not immune to this. Jifan tried very hard to manage his facial expression, but in his heart he was always wondering what Xia Lingwei was going to do today. By the way, she has a boyfriend. Is she going to meet her boyfriend? Jifan's eyes lit up. If I didn't have an appointment today, I would have to go and find out who this person is and who could be so fearless as to conquer Xia Lingwei. Let us observe 3 minutes of silence for my future brother-in-law. Given Xia Lingwei's strength, it would be unlikely that Xia Lingwei would marry him, and it would be more likely that the other party would marry him. Good morning, sister. Jifan took the initiative to speak. Xia Lingwei seemed to have just seen Jifan and was startled by his greeting. A hint of shyness flashed across her face for an instant, but it was quickly replaced by coldness, making Jifan, who had been staring at her, feel like he must have seen it wrong. Xia Lingwei nodded lightly, which counted as a greeting. Maybe it was because she had never shown her girlish side in front of Jifan, so Xia Lingwei was actually a little flustered inside. Sister looks beautiful in this outfit. I don't know which bastard will get her money in the future. This time Jifan saw it clearly, Xia Lingwei's face was visibly red. But Xia Lingwei is someone who has experienced many ups and downs after all, and controlling her emotions is what she is best at. Otherwise, it would be impossible for her to negotiate so many big orders from the Xia group so easily. After coughing twice, Xia Lingwei looked at Jifan in front of her. They have been together for more than 3 years, but she doesn't actually know much about Jifan. Her focus in recent years has been on the group, otherwise she would not have been able to lead the Xia group to the top in such a short time. But what really made her afraid to understand was that when Jifan first came, every time she saw him, she would think of her dead, online love brother. But fortunately, the younger brother did not die and they can continue to love each other. Brother, are you going out? Xia Lingwei glanced at Jifan. Jifan today was a little different from usual. The dress is not so casual and looks more mature. The younger brother who was just an adult when he came in is now almost 22 years old and a real man. Yeah, I made an appointment with my classmates to go out and play. Jifan lied. Jifan is actually not very good at lying. If you observe carefully, you will find that his tone is obviously much weaker when he lies, as if he has no confidence. But now Xia Lingwei was also thinking about her own things, so she didn't pay much attention to it. Okay, just don't play those messy games. After giving the instructions, the two of them went down the stairs at the same time. No one knew where Xia Jian and Sun Huiya had gone to play, but they were not at home. Only Aunt Jiang and Aunt Wan were in the living room. Seeing Jifan and Xia Lingwei coming downstairs, they both stood up at the same time. Miss, Master, would you like to have breakfast? They both shook their heads at the same time. Aunt Jiang and Aunt Wang had long been accustomed to their family and were used to shaking their heads at the two of them. By the way, I won't be back for lunch or dinner. Xia Lingwei didn't need to report, as she seldom ate at home and usually ate at the company. But Jifan is on summer vacation now. If he doesn't come back for dinner, he must report it to his family so that they won't worry. After the two of them left the door, Aunt Jiang and Aunt Wang were whispering to each other. The eldest lady is still as beautiful as ever, but she has rarely worn these clothes in recent years. The young master is also very handsome. It's rare to see him dress up. At the door. Where are you going? I'll take you there. Xia Lingwei took the initiative to speak. Sister, go and do your work first. I'll wait for Pei Xiaohua to pick me up. Pei Xiaohua will not come to pick him up today, but Jifan doesn't want Xia Lingwei to know that he is going to meet an online friend today. Given Xia Lingwei's personality, she would have to tell her mother if she knew about his online romance. By then, she might burst into a flood of maternal love, which would easily make Jifan breathless. Then I'll go first. Xia Lingwei did not insist. Jifan and Pei Xiaohua were inseparable every day, so there was no need to doubt. Watching Xia Lingwei drive away, Jifan breathed a sigh of relief, then took out his mobile phone and opened the taxi app. Before the car he called arrived, he had to go to Pei Xiaohua's car to take the flowers and gifts down. Chapter 26. What should I do if the person I'm dating is my sister? Waiting online, very urgent. More than 10 minutes later, the car Jifan called arrived late, but fortunately it did not delay his meeting with the beautiful sister, and everything was still in time. So far, everything has been going smoothly today, and Jifan believes that today's meeting will also be smooth. He had already begun to look forward to it, and even his long-standing nervousness had dissipated a lot. Ding dong. The penguin notification sound rang out, and Jifan had been logging into his small account on his mobile phone. There was only one friend on the small account, and that was his beautiful sister. So this message must have come from her. Baby, I'm almost there, I'm a little nervous. It seems that he is not the only one who is nervous. Now Jifan feels a lot more relieved. Don't worry, sister. I'm here. Don't be nervous. As a man, you should stand up at this time and give women enough sense of security. At least that's what Baidu says. Wow, baby, what if I'm not pretty and you don't like me? Baby, I'm so scared. I don't want to lose you again. Jifan took a deep breath. He was very nervous now, but he still had to keep sending messages to comfort his beautiful sister. Baby, I'm here. I'm standing on the side of the road, wearing a pink dress. I'm all alone here. Pink skirt. The image of Xia Lingwei today suddenly flashed through Jifan's mind, but he immediately put it behind him. Why did I think of her for no reason? Even if Xia Lingwei wore pink, it couldn't hide the fact that she was the Frost Witch. How could such a person be my beautiful sister? Just the clingy and corny messages every day are enough for Jifan to rule out Xia Lingwei 1,000 times. Sister, please wait for me here obediently. Glancing at the distance, he knew he would see the other person in about 10 minutes. Since the beautiful sister arrived first, does that mean I can get a glimpse of her true appearance in advance? Old G, did you see it? Take a picture for me. Pei Xiaohua's message came at a very timely moment. Why don't I pretend that I'm not there in the car first, and then take a few photos secretly to satisfy Pei Xiaohua? After all, Pei Xiaohua had made a lot of preparations for this meeting. Not yet. I'm warning you, Pei Xiaohua, you'd better disappear from my world later. I won't contact you until everything is over. Do you understand? Pei Xiaohua was heartbroken that his wife had forgotten her father. After all, the two of them were childhood sweethearts, and now they are a well-matched match. I didn't expect that Jifan, a man, would be so heartless. Despite all their complaints, Pei Xiaohua still made an okay gesture at the speed of light and then turned off his phone. Today, Pei Xiaohua prepared to go to the canyon alone to fight and forget about that bastard Jifan first. The taxi was quite fast. It was originally expected to take more than 20 minutes, but it arrived 5 minutes earlier. It should be the right turn at the intersection ahead. Just drop me off at the intersection. Jifan took a deep breath, and his mood, which had calmed down before, became tense again. Opening the blind box has reached the last step, and the result will be known soon. How can I not be nervous? The taxi stopped by the roadside. From this position, Jifan could not see the place where they had agreed to meet, and naturally he could not see the beautiful sister's true face. But if he takes a few more steps forward, the mystery will be revealed. Jifan didn't walk over directly. He kept walking back and forth on the spot, his heart almost jumping out of nervousness. The penguin notification sounded. It was sent by the beautiful sister. "Baby, how long will it take you to arrive? I can't wait to see you." After seeing these words, Jifan was suddenly no longer nervous. The two of them have been together for such a long time, and the beautiful sister has always been proactive and considerate, bold and cautious. Jifan is the one who has always been favored, so he shouldn't be nervous. Having made up his mind, Jifan did not reply to the message. He could see him in just a few steps anyway. Jifan walked forward boldly. The moment he crossed the intersection, the happiest smile of his life appeared on his face, and then he turned his head away. A familiar figure came into view. Pink skirt. Xia Lingwei? Beautiful sister. Jifan's first reaction was to run. But he stopped abruptly. Maybe it was just a coincidence? Jifan thought about it and ran back to the taxi. "Why are you back again?" The master had not left yet, and when he saw the door suddenly opened, he asked curiously, "Master, can you see inside this window from the outside?" Although the master didn't understand why he asked that, he still answered honestly, "I put on a privacy film, you definitely can't see it." Now Jifan felt relieved, and he suddenly took out 100 yuan from his pocket. "Master, turn right at the next intersection. About 20 meters away, there is a woman in a pink dress. When you get to that spot, slow down a little bit, but don't stop." Just 100 yuan, it was just a small thing, so the master naturally agreed happily. "If you don't make money, you're a bastard. Watch out, I'm going to drive a little slower later." This master is quite considerate. Today is Saturday, and as it approaches 11 o'clock, there are already more and more vehicles on the road. The taxi completed a right turn at the intersection with its empty car lights on. Jifan finally saw the other person up close. Xia Lingwei was holding a cell phone in one hand and a small bag in the other, which was probably a gift. The pink dress she was wearing was so cute. Today she looked like a little princess from a fairy tale. She stood there with a shy and expectant look on her face, which made Jifan wonder if Xia Lingwei had been possessed by another spirit. But Jifan knew that she was indeed not possessed by another body, if she was really the beautiful sister. But, the beautiful sister and Xia Lingwei, it turns out that they are the same person. A passionate, clingy, and coquettish person. One who is cold, ruthless, and decisive in killing. How could such completely different personalities be perfectly integrated into one body? Jifan widened his eyes. He tried to find a second woman in a pink dress near Xia Lingwei, but was disappointed in the end. He didn't find it. The taxi slowly drove past Xia Lingwei. At this moment, Xia Lingwei seemed to sense something and suddenly raised her head. The two looked at each other through the car window. Although they had lived under the same roof for 3 years, Jifan was still amazed when Xia Lingwei looked up. After being amazed, I broke out in a cold sweat. "Discovered? No, don't panic, she can't see me." He looked down at his phone and saw that the last message was still sent a few minutes ago, but now, Jifan didn't dare to reply. What should I do if the person I'm dating online turns out to be my sister? Waiting online, it's really urgent. Chapter 27. Because she is Xia Lingwei. "Baby, why haven't you arrived yet? Is there a traffic jam?" "Don't worry, baby. I will always wait for you." The cell phone suddenly rang, startling Jifan. "Master, please stop at an internet cafe ahead." Jifan urgently needs to calm down. But keeping Xia Lingwei waiting didn't seem to be a solution. But why is it her? Jifan had guessed a lot before coming here, but he had never thought of the current answer. My impression of Xia Lingwei is that she is serious, cold, a domineering president, and the queen of business. How could Jifan dare to imagine that the clingy, love-brained girl who called him baby every day across the screen would be Xia Lingwei? Damn it, even a cool novel wouldn't dare to write like this, and even a brainless skit wouldn't dare to act like this. The taxi stopped, and Jifan took a look at the 99 roses in his hand, and his heart sank. This was my first time sending flowers, but I died halfway through. Jifan had been dating Zhao Feifei for 2 years, but he had never given her flowers in those 2 years, and Zhao Feifei seemed to have never mentioned flowers either. After all, the things she mentioned were worth thousands or tens of thousands, and she would never consider spending money on something that was impractical and had a short shelf life. After taking a look at the flowers that were taking up some space in his hand, Jifan was reluctant to throw them away. He held the flowers and walked into the internet cafe. Under the network administrator's surprised gaze, Jifan opened a booth. What to do? Sitting on the sofa in the booth, Jifan's eyes were fixed on the screen of his mobile phone. I don't dare to meet you, right? Jifan didn't know what was wrong with his brain. He chose to escape death 3 years ago, and 3 years later he chose the same path again. Then he pinched his throat to make himself sound more miserable and in more pain. Then sent a voice message. I was in a car accident, gasping for breath. I'm sorry, baby, crying. I can't come to the appointment. Perhaps fearing that one sentence was not enough, Jifan quickly sent a second message. Baby, I love you forever. After saying this, Jifan switched accounts at the speed of light. He swore that he would never log into his secondary account again. This matter must be kept to himself and taken to the grave. Fuck, I must be crazy. Jifan cursed himself angrily and then opened the League of Legends. Just treat it as a dream, and forget about it from now on. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Jifan didn't know how he had gotten through the past few hours. From morning till now, he hadn't eaten a single bite, but he didn't feel hungry at all. The phone suddenly rang and Jifan was startled. Now any slight disturbance would easily make Jifan suspicious. The caller ID showed Pei Xiaohua. Jifan frowned. Didn't he say that he wouldn't be allowed to disturb him today? After thinking about it, Jifan answered the phone. Lao Ji, what's wrong with you? I see you're playing games online. Aren't you on a date? Jifan looked at the computer screen in front of him and found that it was the game that exposed him. I was absent-minded just now and didn't notice that Pei Xiaohua had sent me 7 or 8 messages in the game. Oh, don't mention it. Jifan sighed. What's wrong? Ugly. This was the only reason Pei Xiaohua could think of. If only being ugly were that simple. Forget it, let's meet and talk. I'm at the internet cafe, come pick me up. After hanging up the phone, Jifan sent Pei Xiaohua his location. Pei Xiaohua arrived very quickly and rushed into the booth in just over 10 minutes. What happened? She didn't even send you flowers. Did she stand you up? I stood her up. There were many people talking in the internet cafe, so Jifan didn't want to say much. Let's go, find a place to have a couple of drinks, and then I'll talk to you. Pei Xiaohua saw that Jifan was not in a good mood, so he didn't ask any more questions and took the initiative to help him pick up the flowers. Half an hour later, the car stopped in front of a pub. The name is great, but I don't have time to listen to your empty promises, etc. Before entering the door, Jifan suddenly grabbed Pei Xiaohua and asked, Isn't this the Xia family's property? Pei Xiaohua was stunned for a moment, then shook his head. Don't worry, your sister doesn't think highly of this small industry. Come to think of it, why would a woman with a big picture like Xia Lingwei care about such a small profit? Feelings should not be a stumbling block for her. She should stand at the top and contribute to the business of the entire Jianghai city. Pei Xiaohua sighed again. He had a lot of questions he wanted to ask, but he didn't know where to start. I have known Jifan for more than 10 years, but this is the first time I see him so depressed. I don't know what he has experienced today. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon and there were not many customers in the tavern, so the two found a secluded seat by the window and sat down. Brother, I know you have a lot of questions, but don't ask them yet, drink first. Jifan seldom drinks on weekdays. Seeing what happened today, he must have been deeply hurt, right? As his brother, I naturally have to spend more time with him. In the blink of an eye, 3 glasses of wine were drunk. After drinking their wine, the conversation started. Jifan patted Pei Xiaohua's shoulder hard and took the initiative to speak. Pei Xiaogo, do you know how good-looking my online crush is? Pei Uezer is Pei the big dog, and Pei Xiaohua is naturally Pei the little dog. TSK, if it's really beautiful, you'll still look like this. It can't be that the other party dislikes you, right? After hearing this, Pei Xiaohua really felt that it was possible, otherwise why would his brother look like this? It was obvious that he was heartbroken. Jifan is not the kind of man who looks particularly handsome at first glance, but he is very pleasing to the eye at first glance, and he becomes more and more handsome the more you look at him. Jifan dressed up specially today, looking less casual and more stunning. How could a man like this be disliked? Is that woman blind? I'm not lying to you. There's no woman prettier than her in the entire Jianghai city. This time Pei Xiaohua really didn't believe it. So who do you think is prettier, Xie Lingwei or her? Xie Lingwei is the most beautiful woman Pei Xiaohua has ever seen in his life. She would be even better if she didn't have a deadpan face every day and wore a formal business suit. But even so, it can't conceal Xie Lingwei's beauty. I can't imagine how beautiful she would be if she had a smile on her face and changed her style of clothing. Could Jifan's online love interest be prettier than Xie Lingwei? Jifan paused. She is more beautiful than Xie Lingwei. I don't believe it, you're drunk. Pei Xiaohua unconsciously raised his voice by several octaves, attracting the few guests around to watch. Pei Xiaohua quickly lowered his voice. Do you have any photos? Seeing is believing. Jifan rolled his eyes at him and then spoke slowly. Because, she is Xie Lingwei, wearing a pink dress and with a sweet smile on her face. Hiss. Pei Xiaohua took a breath of cold air. This kind of scene that can only appear in dreams was seen by Jifan. Etc. What did he just say? His online crush is Xie Lingwei? That clingy, love-brained, beautiful sister who has been waiting for him for 3 years, is Xie Lingwei?